This one, I just stumbled across this quest, this side quest. I was cleaning up all the side quests. I haven't even gotten them all done in all the expansions yet, but, and I just stumbled across this, and I'm like, wow, this is really long and involved, and it just kept going and going, and it was actually pretty good, so. We need to get to keeping the ledger. Alright, so where is this? Okay, the jeweled crozier. I do miss Ishgard. I love Ishgard. I do. It's my favorite capital. Favorite city. Good day to you, miss. How may I help you? Oh, you wish to help me? Well, your timing couldn't be better. It would seem I have misplaced the record of sales for my most esteemed client, St. Endalim's Scholasticate. Said client has requested another volume from the 72 articles of Hellenic polity. There are 14 in total, and try as I might, I cannot recall which one they specified. Surely you can imagine how embarrassing it would be were I to ask them again myself, and they to learn the reason why. That's why I need you to go in my stead. No need for overt inquiries, mind. Just make small talk and surreptitiously examine the shelves to see what might be missing. Oh, great. Helping somebody. I'm too nice. The Warrior of Light is way too nice for her own good. That's fine. That's fine. I will, I'll catch you on Sunday for some more Resident Evil 2. Actually, if you want to, tomorrow or this weekend, we need to get you caught up on your MSQ too, so let me know. We can do some of that. Okay, so where am I going? I think it's St. Aremino's Cathedral. "72 articles. I do recall borrowing a volume. Which one I cannot say. Would that I had time to read it. Truth be told, my so-called schoolmates have kept me rather preoccupied of late. Not a day goes by without them pulling some childish prank on my dear friend Theomosant. Well, they try at least. I do what I can to see their plans come to naught. I know they will move on to become clergymen, or even prelates. But we live in a truly unjust world. Pray keep your voice down when inside the Scholasticate. Yes, yes, fine. You are studying the 72 articles as well? Oh, I suppose that makes one of us. I require Volume 4, but it is yet to be returned. It outlines the canon laws of the Ishgard orthodoxy. In truth, these books are all rather dense, especially after the 11th volume. You must memorize the teachings of the 4th to set a foundation for everything that follows. Lee was the last to borrow it as far as I know, but he's been so busy of late. Something about helping children being bullied. He is truly so busy, I wish he would at least return the book to us. Oh boy. Ha! A low-born stumbles into the Scholasticate and thinks herself qualified to study orthodox doctrine. How droll. Our facilities are reserved for those who have potential, like myself. I'll have you know that I'm working through the final volume of the 72 articles. A simpleton like you could spend a lifetime in study and fail to comprehend a single word, I expect. But don't let me dissuade you. Start with Volume 1 and mull over the first few pages for a year or so. Hey, you jerk. Seriously. find a listing for volumes 1. You find a listing for volumes 1 through 9 on the shelf. However, volumes 4 and 6 appear to be missing. You find volume 6 on the shelf. Find volume 10 lying on the table. Oh, pardon me, the 72 articles. Why, yes, I've been poring over volumes 10 and 13, or 12 and 13. The subject matter is quite dense, hardly something that can be handled in a single sitting. If you have need, I could bear to part with them for a short while. No? I see. In that case, I shall continue my studies. Whew. There's just a lot of running around in these side quests. Just a lot of it. A lot. Ugh. Back from the Scholasticate. Good. So which volume are they missing? Oh shit, I have no idea. I think 8 maybe? 11? It has to be 11. Shit. I don't know which one. Volume 11. Yes, that's it. I remember now. Whew. My business and reputation are safe thanks to you. As I'm sure you can imagine, falling out of their good graces would bode ill for business. The Scholasticate is the cornerstone of education within the church, and all members of the clergy must pass through its doors. With but a word from the headmistress, I could lose everything I own, or worse. But thanks to you, my dear madam, my business is safe. You've helped me more than you'll ever know. Oh boy. Well, it doesn't matter. Poor bastard. Doesn't matter. Ah, my dear miss. How fare you these days? Can't say business has been well myself. As you are aware, the church is in a bit of turmoil. It's taking a toll on my profits. Unrest is understandable, yet there are many who are using the confusion to take out their anger on my best customers. Now, I'm not one to get mixed up in politics, but the students of the Scholasticate pay good gill for tomes and feathered quills. One made a request I want to oblige in order to keep the coin flowing. On behalf of her peers, she told me some disagreeable folk have been following seminarians back to the cathedral, hurling all manner of insults. Easily singled out by their uniforms, they don't feel comfortable walking out in the open these days, and that includes around the Crozier. If you're inclined to keep an eye out for those who would try to harass the students, I'd ask you to make a round near the road to St. Remino's Cathedral. If you see anyone starting trouble, do what adventurers do best. You know, break it up. Keep the peace. Look intimidating. Alright. It sounds to me like there's a little bit of unrest between the, the lords and the commoners. That all this shit just is starting to brew and boil underneath the surface. Spineless seminarian. We understand his grievances, but we are mere students of the holy word. Sir, can we not discuss this like civilized men? Our lives are hard enough without some fresh-faced seminarian rubbing salt into our wounds. Will your precious words repay us for what we've lost? Will they bring back the dead? No, of course not. But as a pupil of the Scholasticate, I cannot forsake the teachings. If you give the book back, I am certain I can show you the proper passage to provide succor in your time of... How dare you! As if the lies in this book will keep us warm at night. Better to destroy it than be destroyed by it. Uh-oh. Sir! Sir! I absolutely cannot allow you to take that particular tome. Come back! Is he really going to? Oh no. You're an adventurer, aren't you? Please, will you help my friend get his tome back? We were on our way back to the Scholasticate when that man accosted us. It has become an unfortunate occurrence these days, but this is the first time someone went so far as to make off with one of our books. The Omniscient may mean well, but I fear he will get caught up in a lot more trouble if they outnumber him. I'll go and get help. Ah, boy. Freaking. Always get in the middle of shit. I swear, I think the Warrior of Light just cannot ever leave well enough alone. Like, if something's happening, she's gotta help. Alright, we gotta go to the broom. Somebody? Anyone around here? Oh, here we go. Oh, no. Pretty much. Or she's drawn this trouble. Pretty much. Well, what have we here? Any ideas on what to do with these two, Ben? Ben? Is that you? My goodness, what are the chances of meeting at a time like this? Please, I would appreciate it if you would ask your friend to produce the tome he has taken from me. Well, well, the Omniscient. It's been a while. Careful now. I was in the mood for some light reading, but if you and your friend so much as take a step, your precious tome goes up in smoke. Ah, the Parables of Saint Denathan. I know this title. It's the one we were read as children. I recall Father Choiseau gave you his own copy before you left the broom for your higher learning. And you know how much it means to me. I made a promise to him to keep its lessons dear to my heart, and I have kept it with me ever since. All the more reason to burn it. Scatter the ashes and your dreams along with them. He taught us three the same. Why was I left to rot in this wretched place? Why not you or Lee? What made you two so bloody special? Put the book down, Ben, or I'll see you burned as well. Of all the people, you'd best watch yourselves. The world is changing and we won't listen to your lies anymore. I'll make sure of that. No. Sacrilegious bastard. It's been badly charred. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid you won't get much out of it now. Worry not, Lee. I have already committed the entire text to heart. I am just happy it has been returned to me. Typical. Shouldn't let him off the hook so easily, you know. Were it not that I pity him, I'd hand him over to the Inquisitors without a second thought. You came to help me, yes? Were it not for you, I am certain they would have turned their hatred towards me soon after. I wish I could pay you for your services, but I am afraid I live on but a meager stipend, hardly enough for candles and ink. But if you would be so kind as to tell me your name. Madam Hollis, I am sincerely grateful to you for your protection. I may not have much in the way of coin, but if you are ever in need of spiritual enlightenment, then you need look no further than the cathedral. Halone's blessings be upon you. What does one do with the smoldering tome of parables? Will they struggle to abide the lessons of its now blackened words, or rise from its ashes? This answer I eagerly await. What the heck is this now? It's like whenever somebody's sitting in the shadows, you're not supposed to know who they are. They just give you this, like, this naked black figure. No, it's not the same guy. It's not the same guy. But, alright, we gotta get back to the Jeweled Crozier. It is another shadowy figure, yes. Yes. You've returned, and not a moment too soon. The students seem less anxious, and business has nearly returned to normal. I presume you found who has been harassing them. Oh dear, not again. Where are the patrols when they are needed? They've been spread thin from what I hear. Fortunately, this lady was willing to lend a hand. I thank you for looking out for the well-being of our pupils. I am Sister Gitail of St. Endalim Scholasticate. And might I ask your... Oh dear, I know your face. You are Madam Hollis, the one who had a hand in revealing the true history of the Holy See. What? By the... You mean to tell me I've been tasking the Madam Hollis as my errand girl? And you accepted it with such grace. Halone herself could not have arranged such a curious encounter. On the contrary, I believe our meeting is the product of intervention most divine. Madam Hollis, if you would be so inclined, I would like to take you to meet the headmistress of our humble Scholasticate. Great. Now what am I getting mixed up in? And yes, it's snowing. I do like that there's wet weather. By your deeds was light shed on certain inconsistencies in Ishgard's history, and to a lesser extent the Church's teachings. Needless to say, the resulting controversy has strained the relationship between the people and the clergy. The foundation of our great city-state rests upon the wisdom of the Enchiridion. Alas, the lowborn in particular have suffered greatly as a result of erroneous interpretations. Some have even begun to wonder if all our precepts have been thus distorted. We of the Scholasticate are wont to reflect upon these revelations deeper than most. Although we live as scholars, we had grown complacent, accepting a single interpretation set forth by the Archbishop and his predecessors. Although we are openly re-evaluating our teachings, our students continue to be targeted by those who feel they have been deceived. As you yourself have no doubt seen, there are those who would rather purge the city of all clergy, regardless of their guilt. But with you on our side, surely those miscreants would think twice before harming our students. Pray come and visit our halls. I am certain the students would be put at ease to see you again as well. Okay, I just want to see. Let's see. There we go. Quests. Just want to see how long these are. It's pretty long, but oh yeah. So we are on the benefits of, consultation. Alright, so I don't know if we're going to finish this today or not. We'll see. I must take my leave and return to the cathedral. How do you say his name? Matthew? I don't know. It has been a pleasure. Madame Hollis, I sincerely hope you shall consider my offer to meet with the headmistress. Halone's blessings be upon you both. Back to the Scholasticate. Mathai? Maybe it's Mathai. Yeah, that makes sense. Mathai. Some of these names are just, like, out there. Like, I'm still trying to figure out how Royale is pronounced Ryu. Like, seriously. Ryu. Yeah, must. Oh, he counts coin. That's why it's Mathai. He's always counting his coin. Madame Hollis, yes. Sister Cattell was hopeful you would come and visit. She awaits you inside. Madame Hollis, welcome to the Scholasticate. I appreciate you coming all this way, but I am afraid the headmistress is not here at the moment. She has taken leave to rest. Forgive me, but I must ask you to meet with her another day. It is truly a pity, as I too was looking forward to her audience with you. Allow me to formally introduce myself. I am Father Bruvignon. Bruvenon, probably. I have heard much about you from Sister Cattell. In the headmistress's absence, I have been charged with tending to myriad administrative matters. While that would ordinarily constitute as simply waxing a seal to a pile of parchments, I have been forced to take a more hands-on approach. The deputy headmaster and I were just discussing a rather troubling event, which occurred soon after our students' encounter in the broom, and we fear it may be connected. Madame Hollis, you are familiar with the statue of Saint Valerian, the one in the center of the forum. House Amiles stonemasons have been working on chiseling a new head, and one of our students has been tasked with overseeing their work. Unfortunately, the student has since reported that the piece has vanished from the artisan's workshop. Given that it has little monetary value, Father Bruvignon and I cannot help but wonder if... Bruvignon, yeah. Why, looky who's here. If the culprit bears a grudge towards his student, Riardian Consulting Inspector at your service. Rislin, what brings you here of all places? Ah, don't tell me. You were the hero that the students have been murmuring about. I cannot say that I am surprised. You are acquainted with my nephew, Madame Hollis. Yes, mine uncle. You could say our paths have crossed, more than once. An idea occurs to me. Rislin is an adventurer of exceptional skill, in combat and deduction both. Pray, allow me to appoint her as my assistant. No, associate in my work here at the Scholasticate. This is why I had to do all of the Hildebrand quests before I did this. Otherwise, you're going to be like, who's this dude? Now you know who he is. A prolonged association is like to raise more than a few eyebrows, if not invite criticism. While I understand your concern, I am willing to trust Riardian's judgment. Madame Hollis has shown nothing but compassion towards our students. At least, permit me her company in ascertaining the piece's whereabouts. You may judge the value of our association afterwards. Very well, but no one is to speak of this to the headmistress. I will allow Madame Hollis to accompany you, but only for the duration of the investigation. And for the love of the Fury, be discreet. Excellent. Come, Rislin. Our first course of action will be to question the students responsible for overseeing the statue's restoration. They both do it. Clearly it runs in the family. Madame Hollis, pleasant surprise to see you once more. Praise be to Halone. So, you were asking after the statue piece. I made sure to lock the workshop door, so I don't understand how it could have been taken. But worry not, I take full responsibility and will personally see it returned. That won't be necessary. Inspector Briardian, at your service. I am told you were recently harassed by several ruffians in the Broom, and I suspect they may be responsible for this theft. What can you tell me about these men? Nothing, Inspector. I had never seen them before in my life. And besides, why would they want to steal the statue piece? It makes no sense. In any event, as I said, the responsibility is mine and mine alone. Now, if you would excuse me. Admirable sense of responsibility notwithstanding. He's clearly hiding something. Rislin, I think we may find our answers in Foundation. While I make inquiries in the Broom, I ask that you keep an eye on the Forum. Many miscreants are wont to delight in their misdeeds, and this one may be drawn to the statue. Oof. What is going on? Ugh, I want more Dr. Pepper! Should I go get another one? I don't know. Damn it. Damn it. Alright, so where do I go? Foundation. What? You're a bad influence. But when I want to get booze, you're like, no, don't go get more booze. But if it's Dr. Pepper, you're like, go get more. Alright, I'm gonna go get it. Only because today is my anniversary, so. And I think I should. Here we go. Listen to this. Doesn't that sound refreshing? That sounds refreshing. It sounds very refreshing. Thank you. 17 years, can you believe? 17 years. Going to get sushi after this. Looking forward to it. Alright. So we're going to Foundation, right? Where... Alright, up at Forgotten Night. Madam Alice, how did you... I suppose I should be honest with you. I am certain the stolen piece isn't that great. I know you were helping the inspector, but I beg you, let me try to reason with Ben first. Ben, please return the statue piece and all shall be forgiven. You do understand the consequences of what you are doing. Defiling a saint's monument is a serious crime. Father Trousseau read us stories at the orphanage. You loved the ones about Saint Valorant. Do you not wish to see the statue restored? Saint Valorant, an azure dragoon who drew the great worm away from Ishgard. For all we know, that too was a lie. The Holy See and the bloody Highborn deceived us, Theo. They built their fortunes on our backs. But you would willingly believe those lies if it meant a chance at a better life for yourself? I knew you were the one behind this. You've been following Theo and me ever since we met in the broom. Be careful, Rislin. He's not going to give it up without a fight. I got a fight right here. Wait, all of you. I still believe Ben will do what's right. There you go again, turning up your nose and spewing shite as if you're one of them. Don't you see? I am doing what's right. I'm ridding up us of these false heroes. Bah! Keep your bloody head and your library lessons filled with lies. Believe them if you want. You're just as bad as the rest. He is right to be angry. I dreamt of teaching our people to walk in Holone's grace. And when the scripture itself has been called into question, how am I to find my own way? Whatever should I do? Forge your own path? My own path? You mean interpret the scripture on my own? A different approach to our faith, to be sure, but mayhap you have the right of it. Forgive me, Ben, but I have come too far to give up now. If Holone's teachings have been distorted by man's hand, and by man's hand must they be redeemed. That's all well and good, but we won't change Ishgard by standing around in the snow. At least Ben left us the statue piece. We'd best return it before that prized peacock starts squawking to the deputy headmaster. Will you come too, Rislin? I'm sure he will appreciate your help in retrieving it. Bruvignon. That's his name. Okay. We gotta get back to St. Remino's Cathedral. I gotta be able to start saying these French names again. We had a nice long break from it with all the Hildebrandt stuff. Pray keep your voice down when inside the Scholasticate. Yes, yes, you keep saying that. Well, he is, because he's from Ishgard. Madam Hollis, I see you've returned as well. Lee and Theomison have just finished explaining to me what happened. I thank you for your help in resolving this matter swiftly. But there appears to be something missing. Rislin, pray tell, what became of the suspect? Surely these two wish to seek the justice for the theft. those two will tell you not, Inspector, for they are the culprits whom you seek. Oh, this dude. Allow me to shed some light on this troubling situation. As a son of House Samael, it pained me to learn that our artisan's precious work had been spirited away, so I saw fit to conduct mine own investigation. I followed Lee at a distance, only to find him and his friend consorting with the culprit. Camaraderie among orphans of the broom is to be expected, but to steal a saint's head so that they may retrieve it to prove their merit. In such desperation that they would desecrate a tome in this manner. You would expect a seminarian to treat any holy text with the utmost care, even if they are but children's stories. Piss off, you priggish whoreson! Rislin was there. She'll tell you you're wrong. Enough! You will all conduct yourselves with decorum as befits seminarians. Lee, we will discuss penance for your foul language anon. Father Bourguignon, if I may, the next time the Scholasticate apportions work with the sacred monuments, pray entrust the task to me. I am certain the artisans of my house would be at ease knowing their work is in cleaner, more dependable hands. And as for my ignoble peers, if the comprehension of advanced scripture is still beyond you such that you require a tattered tome of children's lessons, then allow me to procure you a new copy with mine own coin. You need not thank me. House Samael prides itself on its charity to the deprived. Man. My tome! If you would... Oh. Just how long are you planning to lie there? You're completely hopeless. Thank you, Blazy. Oh, God. This is what happens when you let them walk all over you. It'll be a miracle if we're not branded heretics by the end of this term. Lay, the innocent, consider this a warning. You were saved this time solely by Madame Hollis's integrity and the grace of the Fury, but I will not turn a blind eye if you continue to fraternize with questionable company. Ah, the insurmountable wall between the highborn and lowborn. I wonder, did our ancestors build it brick by brick? Or was it fate which drove us apart? And where shall we go from here? Oi, oi, oi. Madam Hollis, I must apologize for the behavior of my students. They have been at each other's throats since the revelations came to light. As for your performance, you have surpassed my expectations, and I will allow you to assist Briardian in his work at the Scholasticate. Well done. If I may be so bold, Uncle. Though I have but arrived, and this is the only case you have had me investigate thus far, I must say I found it rather a waste of my talents. While theft is indeed a serious matter, I cannot but wonder if this was merely some pretense. Surely you have a more pressing problem. An astute observation. I expected nothing less. There is indeed another matter I should discuss with you and your newly appointed associates. I suspected there was more to this, judging by how quickly we completed the investigation. No offense to your powers of deduction, of course. I had better start from the beginning. It would not do to involve Madame Hollis with our affairs without first ensuring she possesses a proper understanding of how our seminary functions and how we had been forced to change. What? This N is silent in Briardian? Briardier? It's Briardier? I know. No, it's Briardian for me forever. I'm sorry. I'm changing the rules. It's Briardian. You see, most men and women of the cloth go on to live fulfilling lives as pastors, academics, and poets. However, those who graduate from the Scholasticate with the highest marks are given an opportunity to serve in the vault, and perhaps one day rise to prominence. The stakes are quite high for those who seek such prestige, for they know full well that their academic performance may determine their future. It is they who strive for the top 3 seats that are granted the Scholasticate's official endorsement, the Trinity. And so those who wish to guide Ishgard's faithful spend their days accumulating marks through academic pursuits, while at the same time honing their skills to persuade others to share their interpretations of Scripture. Up until now, it resulted in no more than the occasional lively debate, for the Holy See was ultimately responsible for dictating doctrine. Ranking was naturally determined by one's familiarity with said doctrine. However, in light of recent events, that is no longer an option. Simply put, we cannot currently assess their academic performance in the traditional manner, as a significant portion of the curriculum has been called into question. As a result, we have been forced to consider more subjective methods. And in this time of uncertainty, students are wont to lash out at their peers, whom they fear will exploit this interim system to their advantage. Distressing, I suppose, but what does this have to do with us? Briardi? Briardi? No, it's not Briardi. It's just Briardian. I'm calling him Briardian for the rest of my life. I'm sorry. It's Briardian. I require your unparalleled skills of observation and deduction. Why no? Why no? That's just what it is. The only way to put an end to this bickering between students is to ensure, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that our interim evaluations are conducted in a fair and equitable manner. Oh, Briardier? Briardier. Still, is Briardian to me. I don't care if it's Briardier. I can't say it like that. Okay, I just did, but I'm not going to say it like that. I ask you to stand as an observer until a new curriculum is decided. Our evaluation system is vulnerable. I don't care! In other words, you want us to catch the cheaters. Precisely. Now then, I have received word that the headmistress has returned to her office at the cathedral. I would ask that you introduce yourselves. Oh god. Dr. Pepper is making me burp a little. Okay, that's better. Sorry, too much carbonation. But there is something you should keep in mind when speaking with Headmistress Elviane. She was appointed to her position by the former Archbishop, thus her views on the curriculum are quite traditional. I would advise you to discuss matters regarding the Holy See with the utmost care. I would say that Briarian is a husbando material, except his heart is already taken. It's already taken. So he can't be a husbando. He can't. I do like his, well, he's Ellison, and I love Ellisons. They're the best. No, they're the best. They're the best, they're the best race. Because they're all hot. They all are. We have been expecting you. The headmistress awaits you within. Headmistress Elviane, may I have the pleasure to introduce the individuals who shall be in charge of keeping order at the Scholasticate. This is Consulting Inspector Briardian and his associate, Rislin Hollis. Rislin Hollis. I must say, Father Bruvignon, your selections are rather appropriate. We thank you both for your service in our time of need. I trust that Father Bruvignon has briefed you on our humble seminary. St. Endalim's Scholasticate has produced Ishgard's finest clergy for centuries, including countless men and women who have served in the highest echelons of the Holy See, all of whom were spared a brutal death on the battlefield, in service to a misguided war they perpetuated, or some so might be given to say. Indeed, some might, and they would not be entirely mistaken. For while we were wholly unaware of the deception perpetuated by the archbishops, we did unwittingly sustain it, to our sorrow. The idea that we willingly subjected them to false precepts is, of course, preposterous, a contrived fantasy. Nevertheless, some fervently believed it true, and these selfsame individuals have come to view our instructors and students as targets for their misguided anger. It is of paramount importance that we restore faith in the teachings. Yet how we are to regain the trust of the common man when our own seminarians are embroiled in childish quarrels? You refer to this tension regarding the interim evaluation system. Quite frankly, it is but one facet. Classes have also been suspended until we complete our own painstaking review of the curriculum. Some students have taken leave, while the more dedicated have taken it upon themselves to conduct independent work to demonstrate their merits. We cannot allow the situation to continue indefinitely. Graduation is approaching, and we must make our recommendations. But the senior class is divided. They do not know how they will be evaluated. Rather, they understand how they will be evaluated, but have no faith that our methods will produce a fair result, a concern not without merit, I must confess. I too suspect that some may be driven to manipulate the interim system to their advantage. I suspect some have already tried, but that is why we have brought in outside observers. Inspector Briardian, Rislin Hollis. If anyone is engaging in unscrupulous behavior, I should have it brought to an end at once. May the Fury guide you in your task. And yes, all of the Ellison are husbandos. They all are. Even my real-life husbando is an Ellison. That's the perfect combination. Perfect combination. His character is hot. Now then, before we proceed, might you both tell us a little about your students, Father? My apologies, I am Father Saturnois. In addition to teaching the fundamentals of Hellenic polity, I also oversee fundraising for the stipends of underprivileged students. While I would like to help you, I think my opinion would not do them justice. I would suggest getting to know them yourselves. I feel the same. The way in which pupils speak in front of their instructors is not the same as amongst themselves. In my 10 years of counseling, they have minded their etiquette and are naught but cordial to me. However, I can recommend one of my students who is quite vocal. Mayhap you try speaking with the dormitory prefect, Arcumbaden. Or, is that it? Arcumbaden. I don't know. I can't say these names. Given his closeness to the students' social affairs, he may be able to give you some insight into what they talk about. Arcumbaden. Ah, yes. A silver-haired boy. A son of House Zamael, as I recall. We shall heed your suggestion, Sister Cattell, given his duty and status. All right. Arcumbaden? No. Arcumbaden. I'm not saying that. I'm not. You know what? Screw the French. I'm not pronouncing stuff their way. I'm not doing it. No. Sounds ridiculous. I know, but I don't have to say it that way. Oh, shit. Has no one ever told you that brandishing weapons is frowned upon in places of enlightenment? That is, unless Lee has sent you to stir up more trouble. Rest assured that my associate inspector draws her armaments only to resolve troublesome situations, not create them. We merely came to ask of your well-being and your expectations for the future. Under the auspices of the headmistress, I am sure. Very well. I, Le Bourgeois de Bonafort of House Bonafort, in service of House Zamael, present to you Arcumbaden de Zamael. As prefects for the Scholasticate dormitory, we are responsible for keeping the peace between our fellow seminarians. Correct me if I am wrong, but are you not the foreigner who went to rather great lengths to expose the Archbishop's falsehoods? Responsible for the re-evaluation of the entire curriculum? Quite the resolution, that. And for what? Every great nation's history is marred by the sins of the past. Alamigo, Ulda, Limsa Laminsa? Please. Each was built on a foundation of lies and blood. Which is not to say we elites should not learn from these mistakes, but we who have served as shepherds of the people for 1,000 years have a duty to maintain order through the preservation of tradition. Would a Wainwright cast aside his father's best cart when it has but a broken wheel? Indeed, Arcumbaden and I have said as much to those who support a more radical approach. The last thing we need is young seminarians running about crying for reformation. I see. So you both have been quite active in convincing the other students to see things your way. How have you fared? 'Tis hardly a daunting task. Many seek comfort in consistency. Sister Cattell has tasked us with bringing back the students who took leave. Why not let our results determine how persuasive we are? I thank you, gentlemen, for your cooperation and wish you the best of luck with your efforts. Now then, Rislin, if these students are bringing back their truant peers, there must be others who are doing the same. Let us split up and seek out the participants. We did just dismantle some of Ulda's lies. We're getting to the bottom of all this. Like, you know, all of these big empires and city-states and stuff, they're all built on the blood and bones of the people they trampled over to get to build to get there. Honestly, every great nation is that way. Yes, even this nation. I don't call it great anymore. I really don't think it's that great. Just saying. Hey, I can say that because I have Native American blood in me. I'm just letting you know. I'll have you know. I am 1/16 Native American, damn it. I am. Man, if you saw a picture of my grandfather when he was old, he looked like an old Native American chieftain. He did. I'm telling you. A new exotic flower graces us with her presence today. Well met, my dear. And what am I, chopped liver? He was looking at me until you showed up. Ah, I see. So you are helping Inspector Briardian. A pleasure to meet you. I am Cremevoix of Matini, but you may address me simply by my first name. So, what brings you to the Pillars? Could it be you were to observe how we go about convincing truant seminarians to return? Then by all means, let me show you how it is done. I must admit, I find many of the other students rather intimidating, but thanks to Cremevoix, I am considering returning to the Scholasticate to resume my studies. We were just discussing the responsibility the Highborn have to redress the imbalance. The Fury's love will all men receive, and by the balance of her spirit will all be set free. So it is written in volume 11 of the 72 Articles of Hellenic Polity. Equal under her ever-watchful gaze. Ah, would that you graced our halls with your presence once more, that I might favor you with mine own gaze. I fondly recall seeing your lovely face always buried in that tome. Oh, Cremevoix, you did notice! I thought to pen a lengthy treatise on it, but I could not make do once the volume vanished. Ah, so you helped Mathai? You helped Mathai by searching for that tome. With how relevant the content has become these days, I suppose it is not surprising it would go missing. In any event, you've convinced me. I will gather my things and return to the dormitory straight away. I think this guy is like trying to get all. Well, it sounds like it works, so I'm calling him Mathai from now on. Just like I'm calling Briardian from now on. Yes, that is the way. One must seize the moment and act upon one's convictions. Life is but a fleeting, fragile thing. Wouldn't you agree, my dear? Well, I have done my part in guiding a little lamb back to the flock, and now to celebrate with a well-deserved nap. I bid you both farewell. That Cremevoix guy, Cremevoix, whatever, he's getting some. He's definitely getting some. Just saying, he knows how to talk to the ladies. He might want to hang out with Thancred a little bit. They can trade notes. This. Telling ya, he is. He's getting up some skirts. Speaking of Thancred, I kind of miss that guy. We got to get back to the MSQ at some point soon. You gotta admit, Thancred's a Chad. He is. He's a Chad. Oh, shit. Oh, hello, Rislin. Leah and I were just about to visit our friends in Foundation and try to convince them to return to their studies. It's been difficult since we aren't exactly held in high regard right now. The dormitory prefects have made sure of that. We must do all in our power to motivate our friends to come back to the Scholasticate. Then we can strive for high marks together. Right. And then we can convince our peers that we are just as worthy as any highborn in the clergy. They will welcome us with open arms, and all will be well in Ishgard. Ugh. If Archon and Batum and his cronies receive the Scholasticate's endorsement, no one will ever listen to us. Can't let them take the Trinity. I would rather not think of it that way, Lee. Let us just focus on bringing back as many people as we can. Just gotta keep watching me to find out. Well, that's how the Highborn are thinking about it. The more vocal we become, the more they will see us as a threat. That's why we have to stick together. We're gonna learn more about her in the next leg of the MSQ. Actually, I think in the next leg of the MSQ, we get to see the Warriors of Darkness again. Oh, yeah! I get to see, it's gonna be exciting. Exciting stuff. Good stuff coming. But I've got to get through this, and, I really need to, I really should do the Alexander raids. I gotta do the Alexander raids. And then we can get back. We can get back to the MSQ. Just you wait. It's some good shit. It's good shit coming. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Right then, let us see how competitive these students truly are. It brings me joy to see so many of our brothers and sisters return to the Scholasticate. Sister Gatael, the floor is yours. Thank you, Arkham Bedham. I will now announce how many of our stray sheep each student persuaded to come home. Both the Innocent and Lee were able to bring back one student each. Jean-Chay guided two back into our arms. Arkham Bainham and Le Boissois were each able to convince three students to return, the most of all. Excellent work, all of you. What about the student Creme of Voix convinced to return? I don't think she came back. Oh, is this true? Are we missing someone from the Count? The girl you speak of has formally withdrawn from the Scholasticate. Apparently she was not all that enthusiastic about returning as she led Creme of Voix to believe. Mayhap she chose to play along so that he would cease his harassment. Perhaps it was for the best. She rarely engaged her fellow students, instead choosing to sit alone and read the articles of Hellenic polity. Given the recent revelations, I suspect she became disillusioned with the faith. Strange you would say that, Le Boissois. When I last spoke with her, Hula was quite interested in Volume 11's equal under her ever-watchful gaze. Passage, one that you and your master would sooner pretend did not exist. If she were the victim of harassment, I rather expect it was at your hands. I can say, Janchat. Are you implying that we had something to do with it because we did not share her views? What rot! You dishonor yourself and your house with such baseless accusations. Rather you would if aught remained of your house to dishonor. I yield, good sir, I yield. I lack the qualities the Honorable Lord Arkham possesses, which enable him to deliver such observations. Well, if Ula has withdrawn, then I must mourn her departure by walking through the dormitory halls, reciting excerpts from Volume 11. And how do you intend to do that? Volume 11 of the Articles of Hellenic Polity has been missing for some time now. The tomes themselves are inconsequential if one has taken the words to heart. How fortunate we are that the wisdom of our forebears is not so easily forgotten. Would you not agree? Such impudence as befits a sixth son. For all his failings, his father was wise to send him away. At any rate, we are blessed that this handful of truants have returned to us. Truly, it is the Fury's will that we overcome these trials and tribulations and move forward with a singular vision for the future. A student with a keen interest in a controversial precept, who withdraws without explanation. This seems rather odd to me as well. Mayhap it is worthy of our attention. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. Rizlin, were you present when Cromavois spoke with Ula? So she was indeed enthusiastic about returning to the Scholasticate. And why did she instead decide to withdraw? Cromavois all but accused Arkham of having a hand in it, as well as the disappearance of this Volume 11. Not more than slander spoken in anger, perhaps, but the situation does merit further investigation. We look forward to your results, Inspector. Mistress Hollis, if I might have a word with you in private, pray meet with me near the plaza in front of St. Raymond's Cathedral. All right. What do you want, Saint-Renoir? Is this? Thank you for coming, Mistress Hollis. You are already acquainted with my two best students, the Innocent and Lee. They have sought my counsel in their quest to obtain the Trinity seats, and I have been more than willing to oblige them out of a desire to ensure that all students are given equal opportunity. I am not blind to the machinations of our high-born students, after all. I know not what Arkham and Leboissois have said to you, but I advise you to weigh it carefully. You witnessed their treatment of a fellow high-born student, did you not? Then it should come as no surprise that they regard their low-born peers as far more harshly, discriminating against them with whatever means at their disposal. Those two believe that less fortunate students lack the potential to become great clergymen. But if the Innocent and Lee can obtain the highest marks and secure their places within the Trinity through their hard work and virtue, then these misguided beliefs would be proved wrong. Even if we were to succeed, what difference would it make? Those who disagree will not so easily be swayed, and those who sympathize will be reluctant to speak out for fear of reprisals. Then you must find allies who are fearless, who do not flinch in the face of threats. Mistress Hollis, have you come across any who fit that description? Oh, what about Cromavois? I thought so as well. He seems to treat everyone the same, and he defended Ula's honor at the assembly. The high-born lecher? Who skips out on sessions and can't even stay awake for the ones he attends? Theo, are you daft? If he did decide to help us, I wouldn't even want it. No need to dismiss him out of hand, Lee. As the Innocent said, he spoke out openly against Arkham and Leboissois on behalf of Ula. We might be willing to do the same for you two. Absolutely not. I don't trust any of the highborn. Look, I'll help you with finding others, but you're on your own with Cromavois. Very well. Mistress Hollis, will you accept the innocent? One cannot be too careful. Or will you accompany the innocent? One cannot be too careful, especially with the rise in assaults on the clergy. Thank you. I am certain we can find him in the pillars, in his usual spot. Oi, oi. I bet you he's talking up a lady. I bet you he is. He ain't got no time for the books. He just joined the Scholasticates so he can be closer to the girls. Up, see? He's talking to a lady. A lascivious lass. I thought he would be more receptive to my appeal, but instead he seems rather annoyed. Can't you and Freckles see we're busy? Leave us be. Freckles, you certainly have a way with words, my dear. She is quite right, you know. We have more pressing matters to attend to. Grandmavoie, please. Will you not help our cause? I believe us to be like-minded individuals, those who desire a new path for the church, one based on principles of... Oh, so earnest and forthright. How admirable. I can hardly resist pinching those soft, supple cheeks. Oh, for the love of... Come, darling, let us go somewhere that will afford us privacy. An offer that I dare not refuse. Good luck with whatever it is you're about, Freckles. They're going to bang. He's gone. No, I cannot give up. The future of the church depends on us. I was not given an opportunity to explain in full, so I will not leave his side until he hears me out. Oh, we're going to stop him. Where'd he go? Oh, foundation. What is going on here? This is looking way more, what? Now, let's not get too hasty. I'm sure we can resolve this matter peacefully. Agreed. So long as you don't try something stupid and give me cause to cut his throat. Did I not tell you I was preoccupied? You there, take Freckles and get out of here. Release him at once or I'll summon the watch. Don't you dare! The affairs of House Matini are none of your concern. She demands recompense, and rightly so. If I must pay with my life, then so be it. I will not allow it! Oh, do not look so glum. If I must look upon your freckled face before I ascend to Helone's halls, I would rather you favored me with a smile or some such. Father's sins are mine alone to bear now, mine alone to answer for. Mayhap in death our house shall at last be redeemed. If it is recompense you desire, then you shall have it, but not with his life. The Fury forgives not those who kill their fellow man for wanton purpose. Permit him to address your grievances with coin, and you may have your justice without sin. Furthermore, I offer myself to you as a hostage in his place, that he might be free to secure sufficient ransom. Have you gone mad? I told you this is none of your... I will not abandon such a pious soul, one who shares my desire to make the world a better place. We are not so different, Grandmavoie. We have the chance to make amends for the sins of our fathers, to make Ishgard whole again. I cannot do it without you. You really are something else. Making a bloody speech about changing the world at a time like this. I offer the wealth of House Matini as ransom. If the lady agrees to these terms, then I will go and retrieve it at once. I'll take her silence as a yes. Now then, come. I've always wanted to tie someone up. Oh, really? Lewd. Lewd! I'm saying it. Lewd. Alright. We will have to travel to my family's old estates in the Western Highlands to retrieve your ransom. I presume you will wait here until I return. For now, but if you do not come back quickly, and with a great deal of money besides, this one's life is forfeit. Is that clear? Quite. As for you, Freckles, do not do anything else reckless. Mistress Hollis, I must ask that you come with me. It would not do to go through all this trouble only to be waylaid by bandits on my way back. Let us make haste. He is a lewd soul. He's a very lewd soul. I think even more lewd than Thancred. I don't think Thancred's tying anybody up, although maybe he is. I don't know. Okay, so, let's see. Over here. Oh yeah, we'll have to finish this next week. Because we're not even halfway through the quest line, and we got less than an hour to go. And I can't stream late today because we do have plans to go to dinner. We have dinner plans, so. And the husband would not look kindly upon that on our anniversary. So that's alright. We'll finish this next week, and we'll get started on the Alexander raids. Forgive me, my family's fortune is buried not far from here, but I would rather retrieve it alone. Pray remain here a moment and keep watch for bandits and wild beasts. Hostile presence. Except, what is my AoE? Is it? I think. Holy. God, I got 11 messages about those Steam keys. Oh boy. Everybody wants freaking games. I have what we came for. Now then, let us pray that Freckles is still alive and well. He is. He's probably really hungry too. He's a scrawny, tawny wolf. About time. I'm freezing. I had half a mind to skin this one to keep warm. Now then, hand it over. Here you are, the entire fortune that was bequeathed unto me. Share it with your people as recompense, starting with the families of the bereaved. On behalf of House Matini, I am truly sorry. Pretty much. Theo! For fury, for fun, what have you gotten yourself into this time? I swear, I leave you alone for but a moment. I was never in any danger, Lee. I prayed to the Fury, and by her hand was Kremavois returned to me. I am terribly sorry to have involved you in my personal affairs. I should have known that the lives of my family would not be enough to sate the small folk's thirst for vengeance. Think nothing of it. I too lost my father, so if you ever have need to speak about it, you can confide in me as a friend. My father sought to curry favor with the Holy See, and so he raised great levies to send to the front lines. Honor was his prize, but it was bought with the blood of his subjects, and eventually his own. The small folk had come to resent his demands for service, and when the truth of the war was revealed, they revolted. The mob overran the manor guard, and my father and 5 brothers perished at their hands. Had I not been sent away, I would have surely died with them. Our fortunes had grown poor following the calamity, you see, and since I was the youngest, Father bid me leave to make my own way. So I enrolled in the Scholasticate with hopes of becoming a bishop, to bring honor to myself and my house, but now... No, there's no use dwelling on what could have been. We must look to the future and do what we can to make Ishgard whole again. Every moment is sacred, and you helped me to see that, Theo. Consider me your friend and ally. Well said, Kremavois. Well said. Together you may yet bring about lasting change. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Without the endorsement of the Scholasticate and the support of our peers, no one will listen to us. What's more, I still haven't even heard anyone explain how we're supposed to get seats on the Trinity. Ishgard wasn't built in a day, Lee. Besides, we still have plenty of time to work something out. See? I knew he wouldn't take this seriously. Calm yourself, Lee, and keep an open mind. Now let us return and discuss our next course of action. Oh, I nearly forgot. Inspector Briardian was looking for you at the cathedral. He wished to speak with you regarding his investigation, I believe. At the cathedral, you say? Okay, let's see here. Well then, my associate, have you anything to report? Former subject of House Matini, demanding recompense for the misdeeds of Kremavois' father. How fortunate that the situation was resolved peacefully. My investigation has been less productive, unfortunately. I thought to speak with Ula, the student who withdrew from the Scholasticate, but I cannot find her anywhere. The same must be said of the infamous Volume 11, which contains passages extolling the virtues of equality. Like the girl, it has vanished without a trace. The circumstances surrounding these incidents suggest deliberate intent. Someone may be attempting to turn this tenuous state of affairs to their advantage. If so, then to what end? For 1,000 years, a sickness has ravaged our city. It has festered within the hearts and minds of our citizens, and in our clergy especially. Treating it will be a long and arduous process, but an altogether necessary one. Our role in that process is clear: to diagnose the root of the Scholasticate's ailments. If there are malicious forces at work, then it is our duty to see justice done. In a time of unrest, when the light of truth was lost to the righteous, the children looked to one another for guidance, that they may walk in her grace. I wish! Come on, Zen. If I made that much money, do you think I would be working still? I'd be streaming all day, every day. Oh my gosh. I probably didn't even make it onto the list. It's so low. I didn't even make it. Alright. Briardian, and I'm saying Briardian, I don't care what you say, that's how I'm saying his name, and it's gonna be that way forever, so. If it isn't my trusted associate back from the field. As you will doubtless have seen for yourself, change is sweeping through Ishgard, and the veil, while once threatened to smother the hearts and minds of our people, is slowly but surely being lifted. 'Tis as if our fair city has been born anew, and it is in large part thanks to you, which is not to say our problems have come to an end. No, the silent struggle between the lowborn and highborn goes on, growing more fractious by the day. I have come to believe that someone, somewhere, is fanning the flames of hatred to further their own ends, and I am convinced now more than ever that Ula's sudden disappearance, alongside that of Volume 11 of the Articles of Hellenic Polity, is no mere coincidence. Both she and it, after all, were passionate advocates of equality among men. As to who is responsible and what their true intentions might be, I cannot say. Ascertaining these things will no doubt require that we first find the missing girl, and as of this moment our best hope of learning her whereabouts may rest on discovering the fate of the book. As such, I shall continue searching for any clue which might lead us to the missing tome. In the meantime, I ask that you trouble the students for any information they might have on Ula. Failing that, find out if they have witnessed any unusual occurrences around the Scholasticate. Anything at all. Well then, let us be about it. Okay. Everyone was on it? Hey, well, thank you for the subs then. But, wait, 13 months. Wow. Been doing that for a year. Yes. I guess everybody was on it. I was probably on the very bottom. Like, I was number 1,000,000,0001. I'm just not. I don't even know if I made any payments in 2019, because it was basically 2019, right? Honestly, from the time I first started streaming in about 5 years ago to the day, I probably made, you can look it up, total maybe $400 total over 5 years. That's not too much. Welcome back, Rislin. Pray allow me to show you inside. Oh, it had up until, well, yeah, then it's probably like $125 a year or something like that. Despondent Seminarian. Blazy has been so distracted lately. I'm lucky if I can get a simple good morning from her. Ever since Ula left, she's been rushing about the city like a madwoman, looking for any information she can find on the girl, and she might have an excuse to talk to Theomicent. I'm not that rich, believe me. I'm not. That didn't even pay for my GPU. I'm just saying. The only real unexpected change I've seen of late is Lee's attitude towards Kramavoir. He really does, or is it Kramavoir? Towards Kramavoir. He really seems to have warmed to him. Why, he even went as far as to initiate a conversation the other day. Ha! He spoke of me, 'tis true, but 'twas not out of fondness. He merely hates me slightly less than he values Ula's safe return. And a cryptocurrency called MILF coin? I need to get on that stat. One of the seniors told me she'd been diagnosed with something called lung rot, and that she's too weak to attend any of her classes. Thinking back, I did hear her coughing from time to time, but I had no idea it was anything so serious. Lung rot? That does sound pretty nasty. The lessons of Volume 11 seemed to resonate deeply with Ula. She would oft stay up into the small hours reading and rereading them. Mayhap they spurred her to steal away in the night and take up with the revolutionaries. Alright. How many times must I say this? Ula was not coerced into leaving, nor was she abducted, nor did she die from a fictitious disease. She quit the Scholasticate of her own free will for reasons known only to her and the Fury. Really, is it so difficult to understand? I hate that guy. Alright, I'll see. I'll see you later, Zen. Yes, lung rot. Lung rot. It just gets smushed together when I say it. Alright, who's here? Welcome back, Mistress Hollis. What a pleasant surprise it is to see you. How might I be of service to you this day? The Omniscient. Ah, in the wake of Ula's withdrawal, he and Lee have devoted their every waking moment to the task of uncovering her whereabouts. They are quite adamant that the girl must be found and persuaded to resume her studies here. What? Zen gifted BB10 a sub? That's fantastic! And BB10's been sub for 4 months. I feel loved, you guys, I do. As a matter of fact, they approached me earlier today to beg leave to travel to Gorgain Mills, claiming that a trip there would yield the information they needed to accomplish their aim. No sooner had I granted their request than they rushed off. Such compassion and eagerness to serve others is a rarity even among the clergy. I cannot tell you how proud I am of what fine young men they have become. Alright, so it's off to Gorgain Mills it is. Alright. My heating pad and the floor is not sitting right. Come on. There we go. Ah, it feels better. There's nothing like a nice warm heating pad on your foot. It's like the best thing. Alright. Gotta fly. Gotta fly. Yeah, it's unfortunately I have arthritis in my foot, though I'm hopeful. I've been walking more, so I'm hopeful if I continue to do that, it helps alleviate it. Because it's weird. It hurts when I don't move it, but the more I use it, the more I work it out, it actually hurts less. Don't ask. I don't know how that works, but so I've been trying to walk more. And it's easier when it's not super humid and hot outside. I get lightheaded when it's too humid. All right. Oh, I heard Capation is good for that, but I don't know. The moist heat is actually really good for arthritis. So, but yeah. Reslin, it is really you. That we should be reunited thus amid the snowy peaks of Kirthis is Why, it is nothing short of a miracle. I sense the hand of the divine at work. Alone has answered our prayers. Theo, Rislin has no idea what you're talking about. By all means explain, but do it slowly, and from the beginning. My apologies. Excitement got the better of me, Rislin. This is the resting place of Father Trousseau, the man who found room in his heart for 2 waifs from the street, granting them the opportunity to rise above their station in life. Do you perchance recall the book that was stolen from Theo and burned by that lost soul we once thought of as a brother? It was one of the last mementos we had of the man. Now all that's left to remind us of him is this place. Indeed, and while we often come here to seek solace and guidance in his blessed presence, today our purpose is more practical. With our search for Ula at an impasse, we had hoped he might grant us an inspiration. And that is why I believe our meeting with you here in this our hour of need is a sign from above. Mayhap the work of Father Trousseau himself. No, not waves, waifs. Waves. I take from this that we are not meant to bear this burden alone, but the obstacles we face can only be surmounted by working in concert with others. Ula's disappearance has thrown the Scholasticate into turmoil, and the long simmering mistrust between those of noble and ignoble birth has boiled over into outright hatred. Now more than ever, we must seek to join our hands with like-minded souls who understand that this malice will only serve to sow further discord. Like-minded souls such as you. I am reminded of the words of Volume 7 of the Articles of Hellenic Polity. Of the Furies love will all men receive, and by the balance of her spear will all be set free. We must strive to love our neighbor even as we love ourselves, just as Helone does. To do otherwise is to defy her will. Yes, and while we will surely be rewarded for our tolerance, the high-born bastards who would sooner pretend that passage doesn't exist won't be so lucky. Why, they may even find themselves on the receiving end of her spear for everything they put us through. Oh, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself, aren't I? We still haven't found a single clue as to Ula's whereabouts. Fear not, Lee. With Rislin at our side, I have faith that we shall find her, and that she will soon retake her rightful place in the hallowed halls of St. Endalim's Scholasticate. Okay, enunciate. I hope you're right. At any rate, we've done what we came here to do, so there's no point freezing our arses off out here. Until we meet again, Rislin. What? Oh, there was a meetup. I never go to those meetups. Okay. Where am I supposed to go? Oh, here we go. Back. Oh yeah, it's a pumpkin butler. It's a pumpkin butler. I love him. He's so cute. And watch. When he runs, his little arms go up. Look at that. He's got his little arms up. And then he stop. His arms go down. It's so cute. Okay. Yes, like that. Like that. Exactly like that. Alright. Okay. Alright, yeah. Mistress Hallis, I trust you were able to find the innocent and Lee. I see. Yes, the two of them have always shared a special bond with Father Trousseau, and that only seems to have grown stronger with his passing. It is encouraging to see that they have taken their lessons to heart, and continue to work so fervently for the good of their fellow students. I fear, however, that a dark and treacherous path lies ahead of them. I only pray that when the time comes, They are ready for whatever challenges await. Mistress Hollis, just the woman I was hoping to see. Well, I was just here! I am sorry to say that a rather disturbing rumor has been circulating around the Scholasticate of late. One which claims that Arkham arranged for Ula to be, taken away. Though the boy scorns those who favor different interpretations of the scriptures, I do not deny, but I labor to believe he would go so far. To engage in such conduct would risk not only his own position as prefect, but the very honor of House Zamael, both of which mean a great deal to him. Regretfully, no one seems to know whence these ridiculous rumors came. They could have been concocted by anyone, for any number of reasons. In any event, with many still unsure what to make of Ula's sudden withdrawal, these wild accusations have only served to deepen the divide between our seminarians. At this rate, I fear others may decide they no longer wish to remain at the Scholasticate, so I would be most grateful if you would consent to investigate this matter. Should you oblige my request, I suggest you begin by speaking with Le Boissois. Is it Le Boissois? I am told he has spent the last few days looking into Ula's activities prior to her departure, likely with the intent to absolve Arkham Baitum of suspicion. Alright, let's go talk to Le Boissois. Stupid French names. Really? And people say English is hard to pronounce. Alright, where is he? They do. they I don't know. Alright, where the hell is this? Down here? Yep, down here. Yeah, they like their silent letters a lot. The heck? Where? How do you get up here? Oh, it's gotta be up here. It's snowing. Ah, here we go. Let me guess. You caught wind of the rumors and thought you would come and investigate, yes? Well, I'll have you know that Arkham Baitum is innocent. He has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with any of this nonsense. I have known him since childhood. While he might occasionally seem somewhat high-handed, mayhap even callous, he would never do anything to harm anyone. If that is not enough, there is also the fact that in the days and weeks prior to Ula's disappearance, I was not out of his company for more than a few moments. He could not possibly have committed the crime of which he is accused without my knowledge. Whoever orchestrated all of this clearly planned for the blame to fall squarely on his shoulders. That much is certain. Yet numerous as the enemies of House Zamael are, I struggle to think who would resort to something so underhanded. Unless it was the girl herself. Don't you see? What better way to besmirch the name of one of Ishgard's foremost houses and win over your peers than to vanish and later spread rumors that he was somehow responsible. And then to go and plant that is to say, oh, by the fury I pray I am not making a mistake. But first I would have you swear to tell none but the inspector what I am about to reveal. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I stumbled across this, volume 11 of the Articles of Hellenic Polity. It had been conspicuously placed in Arkham Batum's dormitory room, with Ula's favorite bookmark tucked between its pages. I need hardly tell you what would happen if people were to learn of this. 'Tis but a mercy that I chanced upon it and not one more credulous. However, now that we have deduced who the perpetrator is, it should be simple enough to restore Arkham Batum's reputation. All we need do is prove she and her revolutionary friends are responsible. Were I a braver and more foolish man, I would march down to the Broom and demand answers. But you, a hero blessed with the strength of 100, need not fear for your well-being there as I do. You are my only hope. Please, I beg of you, take the book and use it to find the girl and prove these foul rumors false. Why do I gotta help jerks? Why do I have to help jerks? Oh, man. I guess I am a servant of truth. Pretty much. Pretty much. I'm always having to help the jerks. Oh, back this way. We'll just hit St. Reminu's Cathedral. Ah, Rislin, you are returned. Please tell me your inquiries have been more fruitful than mine own. This? It's the missing volume. However did you find it? So Lebersoir believes that Ula or one of her revolutionary friends planted it in Arkham Batum's room as part of an elaborate scheme to defame House Amile. I continue to be amazed by what ridiculous conspiracies these children can convince themselves are true, as if the future of Ishgardian society shall be shaped by the actions of some few ambitious seminarians. Anyway, I will allow that she may have been consorting with others who supported Reformation, and were she persuaded to engage in rebellious acts, a dormitory prefect would have been an ideal target. Alternatively, Arkham Batum was so arrogant and careless that he thought nothing of leaving incriminating evidence in plain sight. He would hardly be the first. Needless to say, speculation will avail us not at this juncture. First, I must see what I can learn from this book. In the meantime, I would have you go and speak with the people of the Broom. See what they know, if anything, about Ula, where she might have gone, whom she might have visited, and so forth. Failing that, keep your ears open for news of unusual happenings. One can never be too well informed. Of course. I feel like I'm just a gopher. I really do. I feel like I'm a gopher. No, we need to go to the Broom. That's the Forgotten Knight. Okay, Gibrion. I distinctly recall telling you once that my patrons appreciate their privacy. So I know you wouldn't ask if it weren't important, so this time I'll oblige your curiosity. This hasn't got anything to do with your missing girl, mind, but a few days back this one fellow comes and pays his tab in full. A surprising development, as I had long since written it off as a loss. Came into money, he says, and has a mind to settle his debts. Pleased as I am by his changing fortunes, all the while I'm wondering who he left bleeding in an alley to get that much gil at once. Down. Leave me be. I've got nothing to say to the likes of you. What was that? You think I might have helped kidnap some high-born girl? God's sakes. You and the innocent make a fine pair, you do, acting all high and mighty, pretending you care. But the only time you come around is when you're looking for someone to blame. Sorry to disappoint you, but I've got nothing to do with this Ulah's disappearance. If you ask me, you'd have better luck harassing those blue bloods in the pillars. After all, they know better than anyone how to deal with inconveniences, eh? Inconveniences? Oh, man. You mean unwanted children out of wedlock? That's what I'm thinking. I'm pretty sure half of the residents of Ishgard are bastards. I'm pretty sure. You're not about to ask me to do you a favor, are you? You'll forgive me for being suspicious, but just the other day a man draped from head to toe in fine silks approached me, all nervous and twitching. He tossed a purse at my feet, saying the gill in it was mine for the taking. All I had to do was head to the Crozier and buy him a couple of vials of cough syrup. Tempting as it was, I wasn't about to risk getting involved in someone's shady schemes. So I told him to piss off, and that was that. Wait, cough syrup? Wait, was he drugging somebody? Cough syrup? Or maybe he was using it to get high, because you can't get high off of cough syrup. I don't, but I once worked for a guy who would fucking drink cough syrup, and thank God I don't work for him anymore, but he would do it to get high. It's ridiculous. Alright, back to Briardian. I know, that was a nightmare job, I'm just saying, nightmare job. Excellent timing, Rislin. I have findings to share. While Ulah's bookmark suggests that Volume 11 was within her possession at some point, it does not tell us when that point may have been. With this in mind, I decided to pay a visit to the seminary library. Sure enough, her signature was in the logs, indicating that she was the last person to have borrowed the tome. I compared the handwriting to samples from her old assignments to be sure, and found no irregularities. One might argue that this supports Lebrossois' theory, but it is far from conclusive evidence. I suppose you cannot use those vaunted powers of yours to grant us a vision of the past and spare us further hardship. Nope, sorry, doesn't work that way. I thought not. Then we shall rely on the more traditional methods. So, what came of your inquiries in the room? Do tell. Nothing. But that is to be expected, is it not? Again, I am reminded how ridiculous the two scenarios presented to us purporting grand conspiracies truly are. Is it not more likely that both the girl and Arkham Batum are innocent of wrongdoing? We must continue searching for more clues. Even the most insignificant tidbit may be all it takes for the pieces of this puzzle to fall into place. Look! It's prescription. I have to be prescribed this stuff. You can't get those nose spray. Well, you can't get the Flonase, but you can't get the other stuff without prescription. Alright. Seeing how reluctant some of the citizens were to answer your questions, I believe it best for me to take over investigations in the room. As for you... yes. I am given to understand that Blazy and her friends have been conducting their own investigation. Though I am loath to admit it, given the fact that they are seminarians, I should not be surprised if they have noticed something we overlooked. You may as well go and see what Blazy has learned. If you cannot find her at the Scholasticate, I imagine someone can point you in the right direction. Someone, you meaning the innocent? Because he totally has a crush on her. You know he does. Oh, what with them both working to bring Ulah back, the innocent and Blazy have had good reason to spend a great deal of time together. These These past few days, they've been running around the city making inquiries. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they were up to today. I know, but I literally am allergic to dust. Dust. And dust is everywhere. I can't get rid of I can't, like, not be allergic. It's like, it doesn't go away. It's not like, you know, when you're allergic to, like, allergies outside and, like, ragweed and fucking grass and all that shit. Grass pollen. Like, that goes away in the winter. I don't even get that. I don't. Hasn't she been following the innocent around like a lost puppy this past fortnight? Find him and you'll probably find her. That's what I say. I don't know how he puts up with it, frankly. I suppose that, unlike some of the seniors, he's simply too kind for his own good. Blazy, I haven't seen her in a day. I suspect she's gone out again with her friends to look for Ula. I still don't understand why they bother. The girl's probably off gallivanting about with heretics and revolutionaries. Even if they find her, I doubt she'll want to return. It's not the cats! I'm not allergic to cats! Actually, it's dust mites. It's the dust mites. Of course I don't know where she is. While I may be in charge of the dormitory, it is not my responsibility to hold the seminarians' hand or wipe their arses. As you should well know, in light of recent events, Arkham Bottom has not the luxury to concern himself with such trivialities. That is a question I, too, would like to know the answer to. Feels as though we haven't spoken in ages. I did, however, overhear some of the other seminarians say that they saw the emissant at the Ark of the Venerable. If so, Blazy is certain to be close by. Yeah, they're tiny, creepy creatures, and my body doesn't like them. I actually got tested for allergies, and they, like, did all the tests. They put all the stuff. They put these little pins in your skin, and then see if you get a reaction, and they did that dust mite, man. It was itching like crazy. I'm like, what the heck? Dust mites. They suck. Ark of the Venerable. Over here. The city is a pain in the arse. A pain in the arse to navigate. You startled me. I'm here for Ula's sake, lest you wonder. This is all part of my investigation, I swear. Wait, you're not a seminarian, and yet you seem so familiar. I know, you're my brother's associate. By brother, you mean? My apologies, Mistress Rislin. I suppose we have yet to be properly introduced. I'm Blazy, Briardian's younger sister. It is a pleasure to finally meet you. So he sent you to see what I've learned. And I'm afraid you'll be disappointed. I spent all morning questioning merchants, watchmen, and random passers-by, and they told me absolutely nothing of interest. I recorded their statements for good measure, but quite honestly, it was a waste of ink and paper. Blazy, what are you doing here? She was spying on him. You know she was. Theo, fancy meeting you here. I was just taking a moment to review these testimonies they had taken and thought to, Ah, but of course. You then thought to come and share your findings with us. Yes, that's it. Oh, it might be a bit much. I wanted to make sure I did not omit a single word. By the Fury Blazy, this is over 100 fooms long. I cannot even begin to imagine the amount of effort it took to organize all this information. It's incredibly heartening to know that there are others as dedicated as us to seeing Ula returned. Now, let's have a look, shall we? Investigation Log Entry 1. Master of Ishgardian Markets, Mistress Elise. Problems? Well, with this recent run of bad weather, we've had plenty. Why, just the other day, my back started to give me trouble again, and I've had to hobble from place to place. Investigation Log Entry 2. House Wartom Steward, Anaroy. Or Anawa, that's how you say it. I cannot guarantee that this news will be of great interest to you and yours, but a 12-point proposal for the reformation of the Inquisition has recently been tabled by Lord Artoirel and the House of Lords. Investigation Log Entry 10. Weaponsmith Albert. Ever since the blue bastard and his lapdog put an end to the war, profits have plummeted. I've had to sell my best stock for a fraction of its worth just to make ends meet. There's got to be something in here. Investigation Log Entry 21. Carvery Montesau. Oh, I don't know. Montesau. No. Mestino. I don't know how to say it. How am I reading this wrong? Mestino. I've barely enough time to fill my customers' orders, much less keep an eye out for foolish... God damn it, Theo! That's enough! None of that rubbish is even remotely relevant. Now, don't you think you're being a touch too hasty? We've not gotten even a third of the way through. We may yet learn something of value. Let's not dismiss Blazy's hard work out of hand. Thank you, Theo, for your kind words. I'm glad you think it may be of use. Fine. Let us briefly entertain this thought and say that something in these notes will help us find Ula. How exactly do you propose that we determine what that is? Lee, we needn't do a thing. For though we may lack the skill to discern the relevant from the mundane, a certain inspector we know and love is a dab hand at such things, no? But of course, Inspector Berardian. Brilliant idea, Kramavoy. Or Kramavoy. Kramavoy, I think is boy. Rizlin, if you would, take the scroll to him and see what he can make of it. He's bound to find something in there. Oh my god. My aunt's calling again. It's family drama. Why can they not leave the family drama for non-stream hours? Seriously. I doubt even he could make heads or tails of this rubbish. In any event, it's out of our hands. We should continue with our search. Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. Just thinking about it now is stressing me out. Alright, and I know if I answer the phone, I'm gonna be sitting here 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes while she talks, and it's all drama stuff. I can't do it right now. We meet again. Doubtless you have much to share. I know I do. Do you recall Gibrion's patron who recently paid off his debts and the gentleman attempting to attain cough syrups? Upon further investigation, it turns out they share one astoundingly similar facial feature. A pale, raised scar running from the top of their left cheekbone to their jaw. It so happens that this description also matches that of a notorious thug who was known to hang around outside taverns and harass patrons for coin, until an unexpected windfall saw his fortunes vastly improve. He is now rumored to be making a living as a traveling merchant, though where he goes and what he sells none can say. We shall find out in due time. But enough of my discoveries. What have you learned? By the Fury! This is longer than some scripture. She compiled it all in less than a single day, you say? Remarkable. Investigation Log Entry 1. Master of Ishgardian Markets, Mistress Elias. Problems? Well, with this recent run of bad weather, we've had plenty. Why, just the other day, my back started to give me trouble again, and I've had to hobble from place to place. On the other hand, the Crozier has seen increasing trading in oils, furs, and other goods folk begin to crave when it grows cold. So in that regard, I can't complain. Investigation Log Entry 13, Purveyor of Sundries, Pasta VA. The other day, there was this one fellow who wanted to purchase robes for a young woman. A merchant, he said, but I've never known one who couldn't be bothered to haggle. Not that I minded, of course. Investigation Log 21, Carvery Mustano. I've barely enough time to fill my customers' orders, much less keep an eye out for foolish girls getting themselves into trouble. Now, if you would excuse me, I really must be getting back to it. I'm expecting several regular customers any minute. Investigation Log Entry 47, Apothecary PN. Mustano has bought my whole stock of cough syrup every day for the past week. Passing strange, needless to say, so I followed him and found that he was reselling my products to another. The nerve of some people, I tell you. Cough syrup, aha! A gentleman procuring cough medicines through a third party. That story has a familiar ring to it, does it not? A man with a questionable past, recently come into wealth and playing at being a merchant, who so happens to travel with a young girl prone to fits of coughing. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Listen. Medicine is key? No. I don't like the cut of Mustano's jib. It's the medicine is key, so it's PN we must watch. What? Perhaps not. It seems to me that Mustano appears to be colluding with our man. In time, you may come to understand how I reached this conclusion, but first we must pay a visit to his stall. Damn it! I thought it was right. I guess I'm not a conspiring inspector after all. I'm not a conspiring inspector. Given how poorly this man has covered his tracks, I am inclined to believe that he will come to the Crozier sooner rather than later to procure the usual assortment of goods. Let us head there, Rislin. We must follow the trail while it is still fresh. I think I just got mixed up with all the names. I'm like, oh yeah, I have no idea who these people are. That's true. That's very true. Hildebrand's just super lucky. Like, super, super lucky. He stumbles into good fortune. If he comes this way to purchase food and medicines from Mustano as frequently as Blazy's notes indicate, he shouldn't have long. Oh, there he is. Rislin, over there. That scar, those robes. That's our man. Pleasure to see you again, sir. The usual? Aye, and don't forget the you-know-what. Hurry, Rislin. We mustn't let him out of our sight. Gots to go, gots to go. Wait, where is he? Foundation. Alright, fine. Let's see. Yeah. Our suspect just passed through the Ark of the Worthy, where there are like to be fewer people. Take care not to be spotted. Oh shit, that means I'm gonna get spotted. Get spotted. Crossing the steps, miss. Why, yes I am. Oh, I can actually mount up here. It would appear our suspect is not alone. He has a guard with him. I should like very much to know the contents of that carriage. Keep them distracted while I sneak past, will you? Approach them and announce you were here to conduct a surprise inspection. You will undoubtedly command their full attention for a sufficient amount of time. Are you ready, Rislin? Very good. Oh, text. Oh boy. Hold on. Oh, give me a call when you have a minute, don't worry. Alright, well, we'll take a break in a little bit, and I gotta make this call. Maybe when we're done with this. Alright, use the word. Okay, with the, use your keyboard, the software key. Alright, yeah, look at this. Okay. I don't know, you probably just say inspection and it'd work. Inspection? What in the seven hells are you on about? You're no temple knight. You've no right. Unless... I trust the goods have been properly secured, and the carriage is ready for a quick getaway, if necessary. Right, then. Where were we? Yes. We will not be consenting to your inspection. Now kindly piss off. Damn it, boy! What are you doing? My apologies, sir. I thought I saw moving around the back. Maybe I should go and check. Idiot! Can't you see this goon is intent on starting a fight? Take care of her first and conduct your checks after. As for you, you should have run while you still had the chance. Oh boy. Time to fight. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Done. Uh-oh. Barbarian. Rislin, it was as we suspected. The thug and his guard have been holding Ula hostage in the back of this carriage ever since she vanished. Though this ordeal has undoubtedly caused her a great deal of distress, She does not appear to be physically injured. Well, you are doubtless eager to question her, as I am. She must be given time to rest and recuperate. These two, on the other hand, need not be afforded any such consideration. You there! What is the meaning of this? Ah, it seems all that earlier commotion has drawn the attention of the guards. Excellent. They can deal with the ruffians. I shall escort Ula to the Scholasticate. I cannot say Scholasticate. To the Scholasticate dormitory and speak with the instructors. When all has been settled, let us speak again at St. Romano's Cathedral. So I'm guessing they are using the cough syrup to keep her drugged up. I'm thinking. Alright. Oh, Chewie, you're such a good boo-boo. He got tuna today. He got tuna as a treat because he suffered all night. You should be glad to hear that Ula will be fine. Sister Katail is with her now, tending to her needs as we speak. Oh, good. Alright, hold on a second. Somebody asked me a quick question. Uh-oh. Well, I better do this first. I guess. I expect she will soon be strong enough to answer our questions. Until then, however, we must make do with what information the Temple Knights can extract from the kidnappers. Unfortunately, while the ruffians confess to abducting Ula in exchange for a large sum of gil, they have told us little else of value thus far. Apparently their employer draped themselves in such thick furs that they could not even say if they were a man or a woman. They claimed this cloaked figure offered no explanation as to why they wanted them to snatch the girl and keep her confined to the carriage indefinitely. And so they had no choice but to keep moving, to stay ahead of the Temple Knights and await further instructions. Hopefully we will learn more as the interrogations progress. I fear, however, our mastermind has cloaked themselves in layer upon layer of secrecy, and it will take more than a few pointed questions to penetrate all of them. No, it's not Buttians. It's not Buttians. But regardless of how well they have hidden their intentions and their identity, we will bring them to justice soon enough. And once we learn all that we can from our friends in the Temple Knight's custody, as well as Ula, we will be that much closer to restoring peace to the Scholasticate. I love how the guy in the shadows is just like naked and bald and just got black skin. To shine the light of truth upon the secrets buried in the dark, the children once more come together, that they may know her power and her glory. Alright, so I guess that was in the crest. Okay, give me a couple minutes, because I'm going to, I'm gonna make this call real quick so that I don't have her stressing me out the entire time, because just getting this call is stressing me out. So, and sitting here and not responding. So let me call her and get this taken care of. And of course I call and she doesn't answer. So watch what's going to happen. I'm going to be in the middle of a big exciting scene and she's going to call. You know that's going to happen. Oh my god, hold on. Alright. Rislin, I was wondering when you'd show up. The Temple Knights have deemed Ula fit to recount the events of her kidnapping, and have taken her into the room just beyond for questioning, with Blazy to accompany for support. It would appear the questioning is done. Let us see what we might learn. Hail, my good man. I am Inspector Briardian, and this is my associate Rislin. I understand that you have spoken with Ula regarding her kidnapping. Is there aught you might share with us? Inspector Briardian, Mistress Rislin, I fear that it would seem the Lady Ula knows even less of her own abduction than we do. As she tells it, the only people she saw during her captivity were the 2 thugs now in our custody. We have questioned them thrice over, but they insist their employer had disguised themselves so well they cannot even say for certain if they are a man or a woman, much less give us a description. For what little it's worth, we did learn that the 2 were once orphans, raised as charges of the sea, to betray the nation that fed and clothed them for a handful of coin. But I must return to my post. Should we come across anything of actual significance, I shall be sure to alert you. Blazy, are there any details our friend may have neglected to mention? I fear that Ula's testimony proved entirely unenlightening. There is another development, however, that has been troubling me. Rumors that Arkham was behind the abduction are circulating around the Scholasticate once more. And again with those asinine allegations. And this time, the students seem convinced more than ever of his guilt. No longer content to sit back and wait for events to take their course, they've been pushing for his expulsion. Theo has been doing his best to convince them to disregard the rumors, but it seems any mention of Arkham Batum only serves to fuel their rage. I must hurry back and help him. Oh yeah, one of my free company mates had some questions and I needed to answer. I suspect that this is less a reflection of the prefect himself than a manifestation of aimless anxiety and fear. Still, I dare say this commotion might prove to be an opportunity in disguise. I shall make my way to the vault to continue my own investigations. In the meantime, I ask that you go and keep an eye on the seminarians and an ear to the ground. Alright, gotta go. Why am I babysitting again? Why am I babysitting again? I feel like I'm always babysitting. Uh-oh. What's going on? What if those ruffians truly were in his employ? Are we to stand idly by until he betrays one of us as he did poor Ula? His refusal to provide us with anything resembling a reasonable explanation speaks for itself. The boy is guilty, and I say we move to have him expelled from the Scholasticate, effective immediately. The innocent, I demand that you take lead of this charge. Thank the fury you've come, Rislin. Since the headmistress called everyone away for an emergency meeting, it's been absolute chaos. They're so incensed they won't listen to a word Theo or I say. Perhaps if you were to speak with them, it would help to soothe their angry feelings. Oh boy. Gotta go soothing people. Enough is enough! I refuse to tolerate his presence within these halls for even one more day. Alright, alright. On second thought, I dare say you have the right of it. The prefect has the riches of House Zamail at his disposal, and powerful allies just waiting to spring to his aid. We must step back and consider our actions carefully, lest we find ourselves strung up by the necks. So would you suggest we do nothing? The longer we dither without taking action, the greater the risk of him finding us out. And when he does, he'll see every last one of us to suffer for it. Mark my words. He is frightened, as are we all, but that is precisely why we must proceed with caution. As you rightly observed, if we act out of anger or despair, we only doom ourselves to failure. Please, ma'am, if you could rally his spirits, God, just enunciate. Rally his spirits as you have calmed mine own. Alright. With his wealth and influence, who knows what he could do to us? Alright, rally. But of course, it is exactly as you say. Forgive me, my fear had gotten the better of me. Indeed, there is little he can do to us if we act as one and proceed with due caution. And remember, once Arkham Batum is removed from the school, the administration will keep us safe, so we need not fear his retribution ever again. We must move swiftly, but surely, to ensure his expulsion. The Innocent, can we count on you to lead us? Oh boy. Thank you, Rislin. Now that everyone is feeling more at ease, let us open the floor for discussion. I welcome any and all opinions, provided that they are delivered in a calm and orderly fashion. I believe there is just cause to expel Arkham Batum. As Rislin was kind enough to point out, however, we should not act brashly. That is why you, the Innocent, with your calm demeanor, are best suited to head our appeal to have him removed. What say you? Given the way he's treated you in the past, I can understand why you'd readily assume the worst of him. I cannot help but believe, however, that he too is a victim in all this. I strain to think that anyone who cares so deeply about the Scholasticate and its inhabitants could commit such an atrocity. Theo, for the fury's sake! You would defend the very individual who for the past several years ridiculed and tortured us? Is it so impossible for you to believe that he is capable of such villainy? Until there is proof to say he is guilty, we must give him the benefit of the doubt. Theo is right, Lee. I bear no great love for Arkham Batum either, but even the Temple Knights have been unable to uncover a single piece of evidence tying him to the kidnapping. The same knights who have pulled the wool over our eyes for 1,000 years, stripping us of all we own to protect men like him? How heartening to hear that is to hear. I would have thought that after all you have endured at Arkham Batum's hands, you would stand with us. I see I was wrong. Friends, it would seem the commoner has grown too content under the nobleman's yoke to fight for his ideals. If we are to see justice served, we must do so with our own strength, our own voices. Let us draft a petition that our grievances might be heard and the blackguard expelled. How can they be so blind? The villain who kidnapped Ula is playing us all for fools, stoking the flames of hatred that we might all be consumed by them. Oh boy, who's the real villain, though? I hope it's not Briardian. I hope it's not Briardian. If only I could have done more to dissuade them. This blind persecution will only serve to further divide us, and Arkham Badum's expulsion would be a tremendous loss for the Scholasticate. Why will no one listen to reason? Theo, there's still time to turn things around. I'm sure of it. I'll help you any way I can. Thank you, Blazy, for your kind words. Indeed, it's not too late to reverse the course of today's events. We should try speaking with Father Saturnin. Surely he'll know what to do. Incredible. Despite all that, he's still intent on saving Arkham Badum. Rizlan, there's no talking him out of it now. Considering how our last discussion ended, it would put me at ease if you would accompany us. Oh, boy. Alright, anyways, let's continue. Let us continue. I know, it's just people just getting sick and hurt left and right. It's, I shall be staying behind. There are a few things that I would attend to here. My dear Blazy, if you would, I could do with an extra pair of hands. Oh, of course. In that case, Lee, Rizlan, let us make haste to the cathedral. The headmistress's meeting will not run forever, and we must catch Father Saturnin before the others do. Yeah, it is good that he's recovering, but, like, literally, he actually had taken himself. He, like, had a bad reaction to a medicine, and he actually took himself to the hospital, and if he didn't do that, he probably wouldn't have made it. It's just, like, really scary. It was that close, but... Oi! Oi! Okay, let's continue. Innocent Lee and Rizlan, whatever brings you here in such a hurry? Mayhap it concerns the petition I just received from the student body. Not to worry. Rest assured that I have reviewed the document and will be submitting it to the headmistress shortly, along with my own strong recommendation in favor of Arkham Badum's immediate and irrevocable expulsion from the Scholasticate. Oh, wait, Father! We are not here just in support of the petition, but rather to argue against it. We cannot rightly expel Arkham Badum for a crime that the evidence, or lack thereof, suggests he did not even commit. Quite true, and yet it is not because I believe him guilty that I have chosen to move forward with this proposal. Then why? For too long has our church been corrupted by men and women who would see its foundation built upon sin instead of virtue. I mean to put an end to this vicious cycle. Oh, what do you say? The innocent, Lee, there is something you must know. When I was young, I too was taken under the wing of Father Trousseau. It was by his good graces that I gained admission into the Scholasticate, not unlike yourselves. I devoted myself entirely to my studies, that I might prove myself worthy of his kindness. My dedication was rewarded when I graduated at the top of my class and secured a prized position in the archives alongside some of the Holy See's most esteemed individuals. It was there that I had met the man who would become my closest friend and confidant. For 10 years he had toiled in the sea's darkest recesses, working to see that the ugly truth of Ishgard's past would never see the light of day, until the day the burden grew too great to bear, and he took his own life. For years I was torn between grief and anger at not being able to save him from this fate. Fearing my anguish would consume me, I found succor in my religion. Day and night I'd pore over scripture, and soon I found myself back in these very halls, not as a student, but as a teacher. A tragic story indeed, and you have my condolences for your loss. But what does any of this have to do with Arkham Badum? Of the Fury's love will all men receive, and by the balance of her spear will all be set free. Doubtless you, too, are familiar with these words. Those who deny the teachings of Volume 11 commit the greatest sin of all. They must bear full responsibility for the injustices wrought on the victims of our society. Master Archimbatum has done naught but scorn the truths penned within the tome. His dismissal is long overdue. This is madness! The Fury knows I bear no love for the bastard, but what you propose is to lay the blame for generation upon generation of the Church's transgressions at his feet. I do only what must be done. Countless lives were lost in the Dragon Song War. We must needs purge the Church of any who espouse the false ideal that all men are not born equal, that the sins of our past are never repeated, and that the clergy might be restored to their former glory. I have faith in you, my children. Reflect on the teachings of Father Trousseau. If you do not understand now, you will soon enough. Oh boy. Archimbatum just got tossed under the bus. It is true that Father Trousseau was an ardent advocate of equality, but who strove always to adhere to the principles espoused in equal under her ever-watchful gaze. 'Tis equally true that Archimbatum has been as outspoken in condemning that self-same passage. Still, that hardly warrants his expulsion. You must admit the man has a point. Making an example of the son of one of Ishgard's most prominent houses would send a message, and it just might be the fastest way to bring about the change he seeks. Whether or not that change would be for the better, however, is another matter entirely. It was one thing when it was just an angry mob of seminarians calling for Archimbatum's head. Now that Father Saturnat intends to lead the charge, it's another matter entirely. Whatever are we to do? I'm gonna be honest with you, buddy. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. Where's Brardian when you need him? Leo, why don't we just let matters take their course? Archimbatum's always going on about his superior intellect. If he's so damned clever, he'll find a way out of this himself. But of course, that's it. If there's anyone we can go to for ideas on how to resolve this mess, it's Archimbatum himself. Come, let us make for the pillars. Oi, oi, oi. Alright. Where are we in this quest? Let's see. Endalim. There you go. We are on the Whipping Boy. How far is that? Oh, we're almost done. Okay. So we'll actually be done. We'll be done by 3, and then we can start up the Alexander quests. You're gonna love that. It's gonna be lots of gobby talk. Lots and lots of gobby talk. Oh man. What baseless accusations would you care to hurl at me this time? Attempting to destroy the church. Or perhaps you're here to bring to light the personal hand I had in instigating the Dragonsaw War. Perhaps instead of entertaining every ridiculous rumor you hear, you might actually make yourself useful for once. You can start by questioning those two beside you. After all, they're the ones who arranged this entire farce, and have been spreading these letters in a pathetically transparent attempt to incriminate me that I might be expelled. Please listen, Archimbatum. We know that the accusations being leveled at you are unfounded. I know we've had our differences, but today we come to lend you our aid. He's so full of rage, he can scarce hear a word I say. Please, Rislin, perhaps you can try soothing him. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oops. Alright. I don't want to comfort Archimbatum. I don't. Alright. Ha! You make me laugh. You expect me to believe that you, the two who would stand to gain the most of from my expulsion, have not so much as seen the nonsense that's been making the rounds in the dormitories? The truth revealed. Archimbaden de Zamael, a kidnapper? Trust me, were we to try and implicate you in a crime you didn't commit, you would have done a far more thorough job than this. Indeed, these writings simply make an appeal to emotion, with not a single piece of concrete evidence to support the accusation. Fine. Perhaps it wasn't you two after all. Still, you rest assured that when I get my hands on the Commodore that did this, they'll rue the day that they thought to meddle with the affairs of House Amal. You best realize we commoners are not the ones on trial here. You are. I suggest you watch your tongue, unless you would prefer to lose the only allies you seem to have these days. Do not lose heart, Archimbaden. Together we'll uncover the truth and see that this baseless petition against you is withdrawn. Ha! Why would I need your help? My innocence is beyond question, and the Fury herself will see my good name restored. I pray that she will. In the meantime, we too shall do our part. Fury's sake, Theo, leave it be. Oh, that aside, where did these papers even come from? Why didn't we receive one? If I had to guess, perhaps they were given only to those most inclined to believe the accusations. Foolishness at best. If anything, these letters will only give me the clues I need to identify the coward behind them. As a matter of fact, I believe I know precisely where to begin my search. Brilliant. We would be more than happy to assist you in the investigation. Where would you have us go? And hand you the very knife you would put in my back? Do you think me daft? If the petition is approved and I am expelled, that would put you right at the top of the class. How very convenient. Oh, Archimbaden, don't you see? It is not for awards or accolades that I study the scripture as I do. I seek only to follow in the footsteps of Father Trousseau. It was he who granted me the chance to achieve the grand vision he had for our realm and bring relief to those in need of spiritual succor. The Fury's love will all men receive, and by the balance of her spirit will all be set free. I would share the wisdom of these words with all of Ishgard. Volume 11 of the 72 Articles of Hellenic Polity. What is it with commoners and their obsession with that over-idealistic screed? Come, Archimbaden, let us not waste any further time in entertaining the idle musings of the riffraff. Look, we can manage just fine without your help, but if you do find anything, not that we expect you to, you'll report back to us if you know what's good for you. Understood? Fuckers. Seriously? What's good for you? If I didn't know better, I'd almost say that sounded like a thank you. Well, if there's nothing else to do here, I suppose we should set to work. An excellent idea, Lee. Now, where do you propose we should start? The Fury save us. That Archimbaden dude is... he needs to go pound sand. He does. Oh, my throat's getting dry. If we could only track down the author of the letters and convince them to recant these statements, the student body would have no choice but to withdraw their motion. But where would we even search? By searching for more of the same document? Brilliant plan, Rislin. By examining all the letters that have been distributed throughout the Scholasticate, we may very well find clues leading us to the culprit. It's settled then. Let's return to the Scholasticate and commence our search. Yeah, I should have used gold. Ah, shit. I had to go pick up my meds for my stomach before they cancel that prescription. I'll do that later. Theo has already apprised me of the situation. Not that he needed to, mind you. It is for that very reason that I remained behind with Blazy to investigate the origin of the nasty rumors flying about. It didn't take long for us to connect the rumors to the letters and coax one of the seminarians to show us a document they had received. Oh sure, that's the only reason you stayed behind with Blazy. I investigated further, and behold, these are all the ones I managed to collect in my search thus far. Under normal circumstances, the baseless invectives penned here would hardly suffice to convince anyone. It would seem, however, years of harbored animosity have blinded people to their better judgment. Oh yes, in fact, Kremavoy and I have been gathering letters all morning. Feast your eyes on this. One of the girls said that the letter just showed up on her bed, as if out of nowhere. I returned to my recorders to check if I had received something similar, but there was nothing to be found. At first I thought it a simple oversight, but after asking around I learned that there were more than a few others who, like me, had been overlooked. Suspicious letters? What are you talking about? I've not received anything of the sort. Now that you mention it, however, I did observe some of the seminarians tossing out crumpled slips of paper. Mayhap these are the letters you seek. Oh, a suspicious letter. Oh boy. Oh, another suspicious letter. It's very suspicious. Ah, Rislin. Did your search prove fruitful? Excellent. Let us take a closer look and see what we can discern. How curious. It would appear our culprit has gone through the trouble of writing and distributing 3 distinctly different versions of the letter. The first reads, "As illustrated by the recent abduction that has taken place within these sacred halls, Arkham Baden will stop at nothing to eliminate those who stand in his way. Such blatant disrespect of her teachings must not be tolerated." The second says, "It is one thing to disagree with the opinions of your fellow seminarians. It is quite another to abuse one's influence to have your ideological opponents removed. Ula, a firm believer in the teachings of Volume 11 of the Articles of Hellenic Polity and staunch advocate of equality, fell victim to Arkham Baden's treachery. The villain cannot go unpunished." And last but not least, Ula's copy of Volume 11 was discovered in the prefect's room shortly after the girl's disappearance. This, more than anything, proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that Arkham Baden is guilty. Wait, how did they know that? Nobody knew that. Wait, hold on. Who knew about that other than us? Uh-oh. I think this is how we're gonna get them. While the final letter at least offers an argument, it's hardly a compelling one. Correct me if I'm mistaken, but aren't there several copies of the Articles of Hellenic Polity sitting on our library shelves? Well, I can't speak to why Arkham Baden would have one in the first place. The book found in his quarters could have been any of those. Blazy, when you spoke with Ula earlier, Did she mention anything about Volume 11? I didn't think anything of it at the time, but while Ula was recovering in the infirmary, she asked that I retrieve her copy from her room. When I went to look for it, it wasn't there. Which would mean that the tome was removed unbeknownst to her. So it would seem. After all, she testified that when the two thugs seized her at the marketplace, she had nothing on her person but a pocket of gil. Presumably, the book was still in her quarters then. It would be one thing if the book had disappeared with Ula, but for someone to sneak into her room and remove it after the fact? Why, it's as if the culprit intended to use it to frame Arkham Baden all along. Why, I'd bet my last gil you're right, and that... Well, that's two that's. And that's the reason none of us received a letter. We're the only people who would be able to confirm with Ula that the book had been pilfered from her room. Who would go to such great lengths to frame Arkham Baden? That's our Theo, always striving to help his fellow man, even if that man is all that stands between him and the top of the class. It's enough to leave a girl smitten, isn't it, Blazy? What are you talking about? I'm not smitten. I just admire him. I admire him for his kind heart is all. Nixia, stop! Uh-oh. Blazy? Why ever did she dash off like that? Has she taken ill? In a manner of speaking, I'll go and make sure she's okay. Smitten. Theomicent, you are totally oblivious. Oh dear. Well, whatever it is, I hope she recovers quickly. In the meantime, we need to put our heads together if we hope to get out of this mess, Rislin. What do you think? Why would anyone go to such lengths to implicate Arkham Baden? To throw others off the scent? But of course, none save the kidnapper, him or herself, would have such a strong motive to concoct this convoluted plan, which raises the possibility that the kidnapping was naught but a plot to have Arkham Baden expelled in the first place. In other words, if we can track down the person behind these letters, we'll have ourselves a culprit behind Ula's abduction. We must inform Inspector Bardian straight away. I said oblivious, not oblivious. He's currently conducting an investigation at the vault, you say. Let us make our way there with all speed. All right. Oh. Is he even online? Let's see, members. What does this message say? Help? Oh, God. Alright. It's not trash. Even though he does frustrate me all the time, it's not trash. That's him, over there. You'd think he'd be like shaking his head. He's like, oh God, what now? Ah, it's you. What brings you all the way here? Do you have something to report? I see. Show me these letters. I shall determine if they are as suspicious as you insist. This is everything we've been able to find. The author goes out of his way to mention that Ulah's copy of Volume 11 was found in Archimbaden's room. The fool. In his feeble plot to frame the prefect, he has only incriminated himself. I trust that you, too, have put the pieces together. You have proven an able associate indeed. It is from here, however, that the real work begins. Should at any time you begin to feel your powers of concentration waver, or your attention to details slip, you need but do this. Take a deep breath and focus your eyes into the distance. In that moment, the solution will appear before you. The game is afoot! And if we intend to win the day, we must remain vigilant. Now, let's get our man. We're gonna get our man. Or maybe it's a woman. I don't know. Oh, I've learned the emote spectacles. I'm just causing trouble with people. Okay, watch this. But I'm not even wearing spectacles. Okay, never mind. Before we begin pursuing our man in earnest, answer me this. Can any of you tell me where Ulah's copy of Volume 11 currently is? Letters say it was found in Archimbaden's room, though for all we know, that could be complete and utter bollocks. Rislin, I see you've managed to keep your word to Lebersois. Very good. Allow me to enlighten the rest of you. The tome is currently in my possession. Lebersois discovered it in Archimbaden's room and turned it over to us in secret for fear it would fuel the ongoing rumors. Now knowing what you do, it is time to put your minds to the test. What do you surmise is the relationship between our talented writer friend and the thief that lifted the book from Ulah's quarters? They are one and the same? A sensible deduction. The planting of the book in Archimbaden's quarters and the subsequent distribution of these letters were both carried out to a common end, to implicate the prefect in Ulah's abduction and force his expulsion. It would stand to reason that the perpetrators are either working in tandem or, in fact, are one and the same. While that in itself does not reveal the identity of the culprit, it does lead us to our next question. Who would have been able to enter and exit Ulah's room unnoticed? The perpetrator was able to move quickly and not draw attention to themselves in the act, leading me to believe our book snatcher had easy access to all rooms within the dormitory. How, you might ask? Keys. Something only 3 people currently possess. Father Saint-Tourneur and the prefects Archimbaden and Lebersois. So one of them is the culprit. But which could it be? Well, it couldn't be. I know! It was Archimbaden! Think about it. It explains why he was so adamant in refusing our help. But what sense is there in him stealing the book when the only thing it would serve to do was implicate him in a crime he may not have even committed? And that leaves Lebersois as the other person aside from the inspector and Rislin who came into contact with the book. I'd say he's a prime suspect. It certainly is suspicious, But what motive could he possibly have? If only there was a way we could glean the answer. Rizlin, I hear that you possess a great gift, one which you employ to reveal long-hidden truths about our nation. Might you be able to use this power to shine some light on the matter at hand? It doesn't work like that, buddy. It just doesn't work like that. So it is not yours to control. I guess that means we'll have need to rely on our own wits to obtain the answers we seek. Fortunately, I have an idea of my own, but I'll need your help to see it through. Well then, Theo, let us put this idea of yours into action. Last I heard, Archambaddon and the Bourgeois have taken refuge in Zamael Manor. Let's make our way there post-haste. I'll leave it to you to see that the bumblings of those three do not interfere with the final stage of my investigation at the vault. But do not tarry long. With Father Saturnois throwing his full support behind the petition, Archambaddon has but a few bells before his name is permanently struck from the registry. I shall do what I can to see that the proceedings are delayed, but I cannot guarantee it will buy us all the time we need. Godspeed, Rizlin. I'll see you at the hearing. Where am I supposed to go? Oh. The Athenaeum Astrologicum. It's this way. Dang it, I'm hungry. I'm hungry, you guys. I can't eat. I'm on a diet. I'm on a diet for my stomach. So, that's alright. I'm gonna, at about 4:30, assuming we're still going, I'll get the oven heated up and ready to toss in dinner because it's in the fridge. It's all prepped. I just gotta put it in the oven. And we're good to go. Let that bake up, that casserole bake up for about 45 minutes, and dinner is ready. I had soup for lunch, but it wasn't very filling. Findings! Ha! As if anything you four managed to dig up can help me now. The hearing is about to begin. My fate is as good as sealed. There's still time, Archambaddon. Earlier you pledged your innocence to us. Let us pledge it once more. At the hearing, before one and all. The truth shall speak for itself. The truth? You expect those fools to see the truth when this evidence to the contrary is staring them in the face. How do you think this plan your pea-sized minds have concocted will succeed when all Le Bourgeois' best attempts have failed? And yes, it's tuna casserole. We will succeed, Archambaddon, for it is not just I that stands with you, but the hero who brought to light the truth behind our very nation. Yes, there is nothing that she has not seen. Surely you understand the implications of this. Don't you, Le Bourgeois? Rizlin has the ability to peer into the events of the past. Indeed, it was through her visions that Ishgard's true origins were brought to light. Need say no more. She has already used her vaunted power to see that I was the one behind it all. Yes, it was I that kidnapped Ula. It was I that snuck into her room and stole Volume 11. And it was I that distributed the letters, all so that I might implicate Archambaddon. How satisfying it is to finally be able to say it aloud. For so long I have had to plot my vengeance in silence, and mask my hatred of you with hollow praise and bashful smiles. Bashful smiles? Le Bourgeois, what madness is this you speak? You truly are oblivious, aren't you? Then allow me to enlighten you. After all the transgressions your family has committed against mine, did you truly think I would remain loyal to you? For centuries, your house has humiliated us. It was something we'd come to accept, but when the wall between the nobility and the common class came tumbling down, we were met with the most harrowing truth of all, that all our suffering had been for naught. Everything we grew up believing about our status was a fabrication, tall tales spun to keep us complacent. In reality, you're no better than the two broom rats beside you. You never were. It was a terrible realization, but one that also gave me hope. Hope that you could be taken down just as any other. That's when I began plotting. Ula's abduction, the letters, and the rumors they spurred, all was part of my master plan. To bring shame and dishonor on you and your family, as you have mine. I have staked everything, yes, even my very freedom. But it was nothing. Well, but it was worth it to give you a taste of our plan, a taste of our pain. Okay, I'm getting tongue-tied again. What's more, I bribed the two kidnappers into abducting Ula with money from your purse. And having entrusted the management of your finances to me, you never suspected a thing. Lepersois, I can only imagine the pain you have endured, but to seek revenge in this way. Nevertheless, I thank you for confessing to your crimes. Now we can absolve Archimbaden of the false charges brought against him. But wait a minute. You mean that she didn't actually see into the past? You deceived me! If you'll recall, Theo never explicitly said that Rizlin had a vision of what happened to Ula. He merely observed that she possesses such an ability. Truth be told, it is not even a power that can be controlled at will. Now then, Archimbaden, I suppose that's all the proof of innocence you'll need. Let's escort Lepersois to the hearing and have him repeat his most dramatic confession before the headmistress. I never saw it. The hatred, I mean. How could I have been so blind? We've been friends from childhood. Never for a moment did I question his loyalty. What a fool I was. However did I think I could stand at the forefront of our nation when I was so oblivious to that which was happening under my very nose? Archimbaden, pray do not torture yourself so. Rather, open your heart and allow Holone's wisdom to set you free. Once you come to see Lepersois not only as your friend but as your peer, I promise that the both of you will find a way to mend any bonds that have been broken. The Fury's love will all men receive, and by the balance of her spear will all be set free. You truly believe these words, don't you? You cling to them, even when reality does all it can to prove you wrong. I suppose it is that unwavering faith that your friends find so endearing. Now then, it is time for me to put my own faith to the test and face my fate head on. May the Fury have mercy. So what are we waiting around here for? We have a hearing to attend. I'll meet you two there. There is something I must confirm with the inspector first. Rizlin, I cannot shake the feeling that this affair runs far deeper than any of us could have imagined. If you would, please accompany Archimbaden to his hearing and see to it that nothing goes awry in my absence. Oh boy. So that's not it? I mean, we just heard the guy confess. Who else could be in the middle of this? Is there somebody else who was supporting him? Very suspicious. Damn it, that tuna casserole is sounding pretty good. And I already had my Dr. Pepper, so I can't even drink my Dr. Pepper. It's not a butt. It's not a buttian. No, no, no. Let's see. You just like buttians. I know you do. They're like the mustache twirling bad guys that are behind everything. Oh, we gotta go over here. I must say, Master Leversois, that I am extremely disappointed that anyone, much less a student of our upstanding establishment, would commit such atrocities. I am truly at a loss for words. Headmistress Elviane, if I may, do you not find the timing of these confessions to be incredibly convenient? It's as if Master Leversois here has been coerced into committing two crimes he himself didn't commit. Let us not rush to condemn a man who may very well be innocent. We must also keep in mind that this incident will have repercussions that extend beyond the Scholasticate. Distrust of our church has never been so high. If we were to expel either one of our prefects, both of whom have strong ties to House Zamail, we will lose any credibility our establishment still has in the eyes of the citizens. To this end, I would propose an alternative plan. We will make a full disclosure of this scandal to the public, together with an announcement that St. Endalim's Scholasticate will be temporarily closed. It is past time we pushed for a full reformation of the school and its curriculum. And there it is, the confession I've been waiting for. Confession? Master Briardian, explain yourself. From the start, I had suspicions that someone was pulling strings behind the scenes. Someone who had secured a high enough position within the clergy to manipulate the students and the system. I pored through records, closely examining any who fit this description. It was no easy task, but I finally found what I was searching for, and combined with the confession the innocent obtained from Leversois, I was able to uncover the true culprit. I speak of you, Saturnin, and I do not call you father, for you are no priest. The documents admitting you into your current position were all forged. You manipulated Leversois into carrying out what you yourself could not. You stirred up discord among the students and fomented the people's distrust of the clergy in the hopes of creating an even greater rift between the people of Ishgard and the clergy, all in the hopes of seeing the Scholasticate closed down once and for all. But I don't understand. Why would Father Saturnin seek the ruin of the Scholasticate? The answer to that would lie in the past. Over a decade ago, Saturnin graduated top of his class and was welcomed into the ranks of the Holy See. It was there he was assigned work as an expurgator. Expurgator? I think that's the way you say it. Expurgator? What are you talking about? In all my years serving the Holy See, I've never heard of such a post. I would be more surprised if you had. Her holy body of decency, a sector that is comprised of a few select individuals, is perhaps the best kept of Ishgard's many secrets. Its existence is known only to a handful of people beside the Archbishop himself. I am impressed, Master Briardian. It would seem your reputation is well deserved, though I must correct you on one account. I am no expurgator, but rather one of the so-called watchmen consigned to guard them. That said, we shared a similar fate. Both expurgator and watchman alike were struck from the official records and confined in the bowels of the Holy See, damned to live out our lives in the shadows as pallid husks of the men and women we could have been, all so that someday we might fulfill one task. Where written records were deemed too dangerous, expurgators would serve as living documents, orally passing down our nation's greatest secrets. When the time came for the Archbishop's successor to ascend the throne, we would briefly emerge from our isolation to pass from our mouths to their ears all we knew of Ishgard before sinking back into obscurity. Of course, no high-born man or woman would be condemned to this fate. No, this was a destiny reserved for commoners, orphans with no ties to the world above. 7 hells. So if the truth hadn't come to light, Theo and I... Men and women forced to sacrifice their lives, that our nation's darkest secrets might be preserved forever unbeknownst to their people. I can scarce believe my ears. Father Saturnin, the friend you spoke of. Yes, he was an expurgator. Such anguish did his duties cause him, that he chose death over that wretched excuse for a life. And while a new era is upon us, one that does not condemn the innocent to a life of despair for the sake of one man, it does not undo the injustice of 1,000 years. It was to right the wrongs of the past that I escaped that foul dungeon and made my way back to the place where it all began. This twisted institution, the place responsible for stealing the bright futures of young orphans, needs to be closed down for good. Father Saturnin, your actions are heinous, and I can in no way condone them. That said, if there is truth to what you say, perhaps it would be best for us to suspend all lessons until we can reach a consensus as to how we might proceed. But Headmistress Alviane, would not closing down the Scholasticate be akin to evading our responsibility as men and women of the clergy? It is our duty to speak the truth and not bury it. For too long the people have been fed naught but lies. It is time we took the initiative and gave them reason to put their faith in us once more. I must agree with the innocent. As I have learned firsthand, we must take care never to abuse our power and privilege, lest we hurt the people closest to us. To keep silent would be to repeat the mistakes of our past. The only way we can move forward is to take responsibility for our actions and make an earnest effort to reach out to those we have wronged. While we may never receive forgiveness, at least we can attempt to atone for any anguish we may have caused those that did not deserve it. If it is true that all men are born equal, as I have heard so many in this room preach time and again, then all are entitled to know the truth. Let us lead by example and freely share all that we have learned here today. Father Saturna, while I cannot pretend to understand your ordeal or soothe the fury that has taken hold in your heart, I can promise you one thing. I swear on Father Choiseau's copy of the Parables of St. Danaphin that not you nor any of those who shared your fate will ever again be forgotten. Okay, so what I say? Burn it all down. I'm with him. Burn it down. Thus all was laid bare before the public, the atrocities suffered by expurgator and watchmen alike. Oh, it was too fast! Damn it! So it was that a new path was forged that day, one that would see a renewed faith in the church and its teachings, where the citizens would come to learn that all men should be regarded as equal, not only in the eyes of Helone, but also by one another. Well, that was pretty dark. That was pretty dark indeed. Rislin, thank you for restoring peace to the Scholasticate. You have reminded us that there is a world beyond these doors that relies as much upon us as we do them. You have opened our eyes and shown us that destiny is but the choices we make. If we are strong and persevere, I have no doubt we can rebuild their Scholasticate and regain the people's trust. Rislin, now that your work here is done, I suppose the time for farewells is upon us. Will you be departing Ishgard immediately? It's sad to say farewell, but let's send you and the Inspector off in style. Chewie's so cute. You so cute. Chewie's like, never leave me alone like that in the dark ever again, Mommy. I'm sorry for everything I ever did, but I'll do it again. Ah, there is my trusted associate. I feared I might not be able to bid you a proper farewell before I left. On behalf of my uncle, allow me to thank you for all your hard work. There's still so much fighting and bickering going on. Couldn't you stay with us for just a bit longer? I fear there are more pressing mysteries that demand my attention, not to mention a certain young lady in Ulda who awaits my return. Oh, a certain young lady in Ulda, but she's in jail. Is he visiting her in jail? Oh ho, another client of yours, I take it. Wait, no, get out of the way. Theo, is your head screwed on backwards? He's talking about his... tactless fools, the both of you. But I suppose you're nothing if not sincere, eh, Theo? And while I'll admit that naivete is one of your more endearing traits, combined with the blunderings of the idiot beside you, it's like as not to bring the Scholasticate to ruin. That's why you'll need someone with extensive knowledge of the affairs of Ishgard, and the proper connections to actually bring about the change you seek. Someone like me. You spelled jail right! You don't know how many times I wanted to say Gale or whatever. I had no idea how to say that. The words of a man looking to steal his way into our dear Theo's heart. Lazy, Lee, it seems you've got competition. Fury take you all! Call me what you will, but Thea would never replace me with anyone, much less a conniving snake like Arkham Baden. How refreshing it is to hear such playful banter amongst my friends. It would seem our worries are finally behind us. Before we celebrate, however, there is one last thing. Blazy, I'd like to thank you for your support. Were it not for your meticulous notes and sharp eyes, Ula would still be missing. We're all just sitting around in a circle smiling, like a bunch of jackasses. Rislin, Inspector, words are not enough to express our gratitude. It was only because of you that we were able to unmask the perpetrator and restore peace to our school. Just as Father Troiseau brought you to us in Gorgain Mills, I cannot help but feel Halone guided you to us in our time of need. We hope to one day repay the kindness you have shown us by rebuilding the Scholasticate. When next you visit, we hope she will have retaken her place as the nation's top establishment of higher learning, and once again serve to light the people's way back to the Hall of Halone. Our fair nation has seen her share of tragedy and turmoil, but I take heart in knowing that there are those such as yourself to watch over her, and see that she does not stray from her course. Till we meet again. I hope we see Briardian again. I hope we do. That is a pretty big building. And done.